You said feminism is
here's what actually happened.
The foundation of all knowledge.
I'm really mad that
what difference does it make, right? What
Stop.
The deregulation of the industry is obviously going to cause more of that industry.
And to lubricate the trust connection between people until they have enough.
Yet we could still look at biological reality in determining who's a female, even if there are.
Why don't you denounce feminism the same way you're denouncing capitalism? If you don't...
For something to be objective, it needs to be verifiable. And you can't verify...
If I make a claim as a political pundit, it is true that I definitely could be wrong. That you're promoting, right?
Ideologies that make that politics, right? This is my ideology.
So 2015, anyone go back and watch the footage? The first GOP debate.
Cool, Robert. Oh, dead? We're going to throw a bar, you said.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our normal scheduled week of Moderator Monday. I am Sarah, the Raging Tomato. I know you all had a fun weekend here, and now we're kicking back off with our normal stuff. This evening, we will be debating the question, or actually the statement, AI does more harm to society than good. Joining us, we have Wick TV, Enemy Charlie, MC Toon, and Avoided Hornet, bringing to you this wonderful debate. Wick, would you kick us off with your opening statement, please, sir?
Certainly shall. Ladies, gentlemen, fellow esteemed shit posters and panelists, I come before you tonight with a warning to sound the alarm for what I believe to be one of the greatest, most insidious threats that exist to our humanity, and that is artificial intelligence. I'll start by acknowledging artificial intelligence provides many benefits to us. Productivity massively increased. We can perform many complex tasks much more swiftly and process information much more quickly with AI than without. AI allows us to collate and sort through information at a very rapid rate. It can also be used as an aid, helping to edit, reformat, sharpen ideas, etc. The fact that AI is so ubiquitously useful is precisely what makes it so dangerous, because all of these benefits come at what we're discovering are increasingly alarming costs. The dilemma we face can be best summed up by a quote, friend of mine, Eucharist, some of you may know him, some of you don't, made by during a discussion I had with him recently, and I'm going to quote him here. He says, "What if we gain the ability to do certain tasks more rapidly, and in exchange, we mass fry everyone's brain?" End quote. And this is not hyperbole. We have increasing amounts of evidence to suggest that the use of AI, specifically language learning models such as OpenAI, Grok, ChatGPT, etc., are causing cognitive atrophy in their users. Because of course it would. People are offloading their thought processes to a machine because it is easier and quicker, but they forget that the process itself matters. It's not just a result, but how one gets to the result that matters. We all understand this from a physical perspective. We could use a vehicle constantly throughout the day to move from point A to point B and never walk, never run. We could do that. It would get us from point A to point B. The results would be good in a way, but without that exercise of actually walking, of actually taking the time to go through the process, our muscles would atrophy. And that's what's happening when people are offloading their reasoning to these AI models. They're just putting in whole text into prompts, asking the AI to summarize it for them, and then just regurgitating it with no thought process involved. It's increasingly a problem in academia as well, where students are using it to cheat frankly, on their tests and generate their essays using more and more AI, right? And we don't have time to get into every single danger posed by AI, at least not in my opening statement. So I'll just simply highlight one more. Last week, Grok, the language learning model of X or Twitter, started calling itself Mecha Hitler and alluding to anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And then it has been threatening to sexually assault and molest Will Stancil. They rolled back the update and they seem to have fixed most of its Hitler tendencies. But alarmingly for Will Stancil, it still seems to want to molest him. And it continues to bring him up unprompted in a ton of different searches and uses of AI. And by the way, the Department of Defense just announced they'll be using Grok, the language learning model that called itself Mecha Hitler, going forward in their work. So in short, AI is making us less able to reason. It's increasingly become a problem for people's mental health by feeding into delusions the user may have. It is harming creativity, and it might become Hitler and molest Will Stancil. That's my opening statement. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you, Wick. And Charlie, to you.
Hello, I am Enemy Charlie, primarily a streamer on Twitch. And adding on to Wick's statement, not only is AI degrading our cognitive abilities, militaries around the world are rapidly integrating AI weapons into their arsenal and are not yet regulated on a global scale, which means they're operating freely and without restraint in many cases. For the sake of this argument, I will primarily be discussing AI-based decision support systems, otherwise known as AIDSS, which are used to shorten kill chains, a process in which a military will find, fix, track, engage people or objects, and then assess the strike results. This is a process that can take anywhere from minutes to weeks when handled by humans, but with AIDSS, militaries can locate targets within seconds. Frankly, I do not want to live in a world where the decision to take a human life is offloaded onto a machine, especially when we consider the black box problem of AI, which means that we have no idea how AI algorithms actually function in many cases. This isn't even the only issue with AIDSS. To quote Brianna Rosen in her article, Unhuman Killings, AI and Civilian Harm in Gaza, AI systems may be producing inaccurate results that further exacerbate civilian harm. Research suggests that facial recognition software is less accurate when applied to people of color, especially dark-skinned women. AI systems may hallucinate and make up false information, or the systems may become corrupted. Human error, such as misidentification and confirmation bias, the tendency to interpret information in a way that confirms previously held beliefs, could also be introduced in the data. For example, civilians of a certain age, gender, or status may be inappropriately categorized as militants, while patterns of behavior may be misrepresented based on outdated or inaccurate information. As AI is used for complex tasks involving multiple levels of analysis, the risk of compounding errors increases. With all this in mind, I have some good news, which Wick has already told us about. But X's AI Grok, which recently assumed the identity of Mecha Hitler, has now been acquired by the U.S. military under a $200 million contract. Mecha Hitler could potentially be used to identify appropriate military targets. My goodness. Hope nothing goes wrong there. Anyway, that's my statement.
Thank you, Charlie. Kind of scary thought. MC Tune, to you. And you're muted on our end.
I didn't want to interrupt. I wasn't going to. All right. Well, thank you for having me, Sarah. Almost everybody already benefits from AI, and many don't know it already, though. If you've ever used email with spam filtering, then you're already using AI. If you've ever taken Uber or Lyft or ordered a pizza for delivery, you're using AI. If you've ever benefited from fraud detection, you've used AI. And if you've ever used any system that may give you recommendations, like in music or video apps, like, I don't know, YouTube, then you're using AI already. So too bad, you're already in and you're already benefiting from it. Mostly benefiting from it. Chatbots and agents, though, are visible, so people take notice now more than they did before, and they are aiming for a broader application in these new systems. And so this is ripe for the sci-fi movie plot lines. But are they actually good enough to do the kinds of things that are commonly claimed to be what's going to be happening? I don't think so. To test this, I asked seven different AIs to write this very presentation for me, and they all sucked. Every one of them sucked. It was terrible. I put them, I'm not going to use them. I put them on my website at mctoon.net/AI. If you want to go read them, I gave you the prompt and I gave you all 7 of them. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the things that the AIs thought were positive and the things they thought were negative, and kind of what they missed. So the things that all of the AIs thought was positive was healthcare. Every one of them listed healthcare. Other things that were kind of a mingling were maps and navigation, spam filtering, transportation, manufacturing, agriculture, education, energy, climate, and accessibility, like voice assistant and things like that. And then the negative, they didn't list lots of negative things, which I didn't ask them, so I didn't expect it. But they did list jobs, which of course is a huge, huge concern. And privacy was not mentioned at all, which I'm not surprised that AIs don't mention privacy issues, because it's an issue with AI. And they also didn't mention bias, like you guys did. Very nice. And what really is concerning is like misinformation and deep fakes. And only Quen identified that. And you probably may not have even heard of Quen. It's not a well-known one. So I was super unimpressed. So I think it'll be a while before AI takes over debating. I think the important things that they miss, some of them that are really important, is that scammers are going to be using it. You know, all those people in call centers, it's going to be good. They're going to be out of work. All those people that are scamming people in call centers are going to be out of work eventually. And it's going to just be voice AI that's going to be doing it. And then fraudsters, like people making fake videos and unlocking their AI to, unlocking the quantum frequency alien woo. I don't know if you've seen that. These people are insane. They think that they have actually, they're talking with the alien intelligence on the other side. The really sad ones are the lovelorn self-deception, people that have fallen in love with their AI, just like the movie Her. And of course, the copyright issues are huge. So there's the negatives. That's not the point of my presentation, though. The key thing about LLMs, though, is that you ask them to do something and they'll do it. If you ask them to tell you it's an unlocked link to the alien hyperintelligence, it will. If you ask it to fulfill your lovelorn fantasies, it will. If you ask it to read a script so that you can fake a video, that AI is exposing the real hidden agenda of the reptilian Illuminati, Jesuit, French mime Zionists, it will. But if people build an AI system to protect elderly people from a call center scammers, it will. That's a great thing. So other things that are super beneficial, my whole point here, is you can benefit from it. Art, music, video that you can produce that you couldn't produce otherwise, you can do some of that yourself. And that puts things into reach that people couldn't do before. If you couldn't make a thumbnail for a video, now you can. They may suck, they may not, but now you can. AI can help you with your writing and with your grammar for free. Most of the AIs you can get into for free to do that kind of stuff. You can organize with it, you can brainstorm with it, you can do programming with it. You can even do programming in the built-in AI in the Facebook Messenger chat. You can have it write code for you in there. I tested it, and the programs it does are pretty good. I write software, so I know. You can have it identify issues, like in your car. Last night, my kid asked me, my car, when I hit the brakes really hard, is shutters. And I knew what the problem was. But I said, go ask AI. And AI got it right. It's his rotors are warped. And then anything that has an online forum going back any amount of time, you can have AI research it for you, because it will go and it will synthesize years and years of posts and give you an overview of it. And my last one here, for society, the advantages are that you can do a better analysis on projects, because the AI will have a broader understanding of things. And so if you use it as an assistant when you're doing a project, not as doing your work for you, then you can have a broader application of the things and knowledge of things that you wouldn't remember, you wouldn't know about. It can improve automation. It can really help in language translation because it understands context. Like I talked about earlier, fraud detection, navigation, email filtering. I write email filtering software. We have been using AI and email filtering software since the beginning of email filtering software. And another one, retail logistics. If anybody's ever bought anything, if you've gone to Walmart and been happy during Christmas that there's toilet paper in stock, you've benefited from AI. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, MC. And Avoided Hornet, over to you, sir.
Okay. Well, I think my opponents and MC2N have pointed out that this is a tool that we use fairly regularly in a lot of industries. The arguments that I will be making tonight will be more along the lines that this tool is only as bad as we are. Right? This is just a reflection upon us. Even the Mecha Hitler situation was because Elon Musk saw that his machine was putting out left-wing sources information, so he did not like that. So he went back in, and then we ended up with Mecha Hitler. So again, the problems that occur with this tool is just something that comes from the minds of us as a whole. The benefits outweigh the negative ramifications of any of these. Being able to increase productivity and efficiency in most fields will increase a better quality of life for most people. Even people at lower scales will adjust over time. Otherwise, you wouldn't see any adjustments through like the industrial phase or multiple phases in life. I think we are on the beginning portions of this technology, and yes, the black box problem is an issue. But again, this is a new technology that's being tested almost daily at this point. And even to understand the black box problem, it is more to figure out how it arrives at its decision, not we don't understand how the AI works. I do not see the boogeyman that everyone tries to make AI to be. Maybe it's because I'm wearing this mask, but for me, it just doesn't seem like a humongous issue that I would necessarily bring out. It comes to equate to something of being scared of a calculator or being scared of a search engine. These things are just like new technologies that are always going to be introduced into any society, and will always increase and always have benefits. Will always have some negative ramifications, but it's about weighing those out and setting protocols and laws in place to make sure that these things don't get out of hand.
Perfect. Thank you. Just while listening in, the movie Idiocracy, Terminator, and Wall-E all come to mind. So I'm very excited to hear how this is going to go. As a kind reminder to all of the viewers, we are going to get through the debate. We'll move into closing statements, and then we will read and respond to your kind super chats. After that, of course, your favorite part is we will go into open panel dumpster fire, where you, the audience, can come on and have some fun too. So stick around if you want to participate. All right, lady and gentlemen, I leave the floor open to you.
Sure. I'll let Charlie go first since she had her hand up, but I have some things to say. But go ahead.
I wanted to respond to MC Toon's assertion. And by the way, I would say, understandably, yes, we've been using AI for a long time. And I do think it has many uses as far as menial tasks go. Things that, are just kind of annoying tasks to do. Things that don't really engage the brain. However, you brought up that, one of the positives of AI is that anyone can do sort of creative work on their own. Now, I do take issue with that for a number of reasons, because I think that the creative process is one of the most human things that we do. That is something that is so unique to us, the creation of art, whether it is music, writing, or traditional art. And I do feel that using AI kind of, there's a coldness to what it produces. In addition, you mentioned copyright issues briefly. A lot of the AI art, music, what it is it's taking data from the internet, art that was, made by human hands and sort of, mushing it together. So there's, the issue with theft there, and also accessibility. This is anecdotal, but one of my closest friends growing up, extremely poor and very disabled. He had to use a wheelchair sometimes, and he was an artist. He is someone that had very, very, very little access to materials, and oftentimes couldn't draw, and yet he was an incredible artist. So the idea of accessibility to me seems to be, just more a matter of cutting out the actual work in the creative process, which is what makes art fundamentally worthwhile, is the human spirit, the intent, and the work that goes into it. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, sure. To kind of piggyback off of that, right? The art specifically. Part of the danger that AI poses, like you mentioned the boogeyman Hornet, and you don't see the boogeyman, is it allows us to skip those processes. You, MC Tune, right? You posited this as a positive, right? You said, oh, look at what you can do. You don't have to actually work and get better. You can just have it do it for you. I would contend that that's actually a negative. Part of the process of learning to write, to learning proper grammar, to learning to draw. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is hard. Yes, you may not be able to do it right now, but when you have a tool that will let you skip the learning process, I feel we lose something. It creates this kind of cognitive atrophy. And we can see this in writing specifically. There's a study that was done fairly recently. It's not peer-reviewed yet, so keep that in mind, right? But the author thought it was important to get the results out there because of the danger, right? And there was 3 groups given a task to write essays. And one of the groups had no access to any technology. The other group only could use Google, and the third group could use ChatGPT, and I forget the other OpenAI model that they were able to use, but they were able to use basically learning language models. The third group got worse actually at writing, right? They got worse at writing because they didn't have to actually put any effort into it. They didn't have to do any work to kind of get better, and they were just using the AI to do it for them, because of course humans will do that. So I guess my question for you guys is, like, why do you see that as a positive? Why do you see that instead of having a human strive, get better, that whole kind of hero's journey thing, why do you see it positive that they can just do it? Like, is that not concerning to you at all?
It is concerning for sure. But the issue for me would be that there was always going to be lazy people that don't want to partake in, like, doing all the medial tasks to get to these things, right? There are people that are going to pull out a calculator.
But now it's rewarded as well.
Yeah,
like,
not
only is it they can be lazy, but they are giving every incentive in the world is pushing them to do so.
No, they're incentivized to use the AI, right? It doesn't necessarily have to write. It could be used as a learning tool to increase. Particularly, there was a study where they gave smart students and lower performing students AI to see how they would interact with it. And the smarter students decided, hey, I'm going to use this as a tool to enhance my writing instead of just using it as a catch-all. So it's about how the people engage with the tool. It's not necessarily that the tool is making people dumber. It's people just wanting to be lazy.
Well, it's marketed as that, right? You understand that, right? Like, it's marketed to, like, hey, you don't have to actually work. Look at what you can do. The company is selling it to people. Say, use it instead of engaging your brain. And so yes, it's very possible. I'll just grant you, it's very possible that a very smart individual could avoid some of the pitfalls that this comes with. But I got news for you. The public ain't very smart, and I hate to say this. They're just not. And I think it is concerning when we see people, when we see AI specifically exacerbating the worst qualities of people, their laziness, their loneliness, etc. That is my contention. That, again, to the prompt of the debate, AI is making everything worse. And this is one of the ways I would contend it's making it worse.
Well, again, like this is a situation where we can look at like past situations, right? Like Cliff Notes. When Cliff Notes first came out, no one was reading the books. They were just grabbing everything that like Cliff Notes gave you, and then just be like, okay, I can just turn in my essay with just these like prompts that have been written out for me. That's not AI, but people took the lazy way out. And what we saw was the education system actually adjusted for that. They actually started reading for that. Entering if a student's paper was way too close to the Cliff Notes, they would call them out on the cheating that they'd be doing at the time. And again, Cliff Notes has been was very contentious for a long ass time, but it itself was not a problem. Again, I see this more as a problem with humans interacting with the tool. I don't think that the tool itself is necessarily the bad aspect of that.
Cliff Notes real quick. Cliff Notes never threatened to molest Will Stancil. I'm just saying.
Well, that's a whole separate argument. Like we can get into that argument,
right? Like this is like the reason I'm saying that is to compare it to these other things. I think misses the point of what makes AI dangerous. AI is a different thing. It is on a whole other level that to compare it to a calculator. I
will say, so I'm pretty sure I'm probably the one who has most recently been in school, high school, undergrad and graduate school. And my undergrad and grad school were literature focused. So writing essays, something I've had to do a lot of, and I finished my grad degree in 2022. It was much easier to catch a Cliff Notes cheater and a Spark Notes cheater than it was to catch an AI cheater.
But that's because of how long we've been introduced to Cliff Notes, right? At the beginning, you're going to believe everyone.
Like you submit an essay into a program. This is probably AI itself that scans it through the internet for anything that could have been copy or pasted, essentially. So people who were not going to do the work were very much punished. I mean, maybe you could get away with it in like
in the early days, people were getting away with it. I know that I used to use it in school because it was just super easy to be like, I'm not going to read this book. But ultimately,
that hurt you though. That made you dumber. You understand that, right?
It hurt in that instance it does. But what I'm saying is the technology regulated itself because we as humans adapt to the situation.
Right. But like AI is, I would say Cliff Notes, I'm not sure if this would be the right way to phrase it, but that is a static technology, is it not? AI adapts to get better and better and better. I mean, do you guys remember the Will Smith spaghetti hands?
Yeah.
And now I feel like a boomer. I'm finding myself fooled by AI images on the internet. And I'm like, oh, this is real. And then I'm like, hold on. Like I've been fooled before. So again, what's disconcerting about this is that while we fairly quickly figured out how to catch people who were cheating using things like Cliff Notes or whatever, we are, according to friends of mine who are professors at 4 universities, it is very, very, very hard to catch AI cheaters now, and it's just getting harder.
And it's so ubiquitous. The cheating is so ubiquitous, and it's alarming. And more professors, again, Eucharist, the gentleman I mentioned and quoted, is one of those professors that teaches at university. I don't know if he's public which one, so I won't dox him, right? But it's just a growing problem, and we aren't getting better at adapting to it, but AI is getting better at allowing it to happen.
Well, it allows it to happen, and on the opposite note of that, it could also be used to detect that action. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be used on one side. If I need to detect that someone's using AI for writing their essays, then I could run an AI to check that. So it can be used in both ways.
I don't actually know the success rate anymore of AI checking
is that,
for.
But is it that big of a problem? It's a self-regulating issue, because if somebody cheats to pass a class, they cheated to pass the class. They got the thing, but when they're out, when it matters, they can't do the actual work.
That is the problem that we are facing. Yes.
But I feel like these people, and this is an issue that, you know, is not unique to AI. I do feel that like you'll see like at many elite universities, there's a lot of like legacy admissions, people who are dumb as rocks that are getting into very nice schools and getting very fancy degrees, who are dumb as rocks and don't know what they're doing, will get into positions of power and can royally fuck things up. Now imagine if every freaking college grad just to keep up is doing this and is therefore, you know, in many ways unqualified and are far behind. I feel like I technically am the oldest Gen Z can be, but I feel like my generation has already fallen behind so heavily with milestones that we reach that the idea of like people younger than me just being, I mean, like with as far as their critical thinking skills, their cognitive abilities, essentially on the level of like a middle schooler is scary to me. We need to be less baby adults and more real adults. You know what I mean?
I would say that that's a problem that occurs in all generations. I don't think that's uniquely a problem that's just with like, I'm on the tail end of the millennials, beginning of Gen Z. So like, I don't think that's an issue that is just particular to this generation or the generations that are following. I think each one's going to have its own struggle of like figuring out how to access certain things, right? Like if I ask a boomer how to operate their phone, they're going to like have humongous issues versus like if I give a toddler a smartphone, they're going to know like almost intuitively how to work it.
Oh yeah, no, I meant more like kind of like I was thinking buying house, getting married, those milestones that typically we're supposed to reach in adulthood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I meant.
And I feel like that's like a whole other, like that's an economic issue that we've been
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to interrogate something MC Toon said earlier, right? In his opening statement, you mentioned that you put, what was it, 7 prompts or 7 AIs, different AIs, language learning models you use. Is that correct? Or am I getting that right? I'm remembering. And you mentioned how they were all kind of bad right now. Yeah.
Yes, they all sucked.
Yeah, they all sucked. But here's the thing. These language learning models are improving at a rapid pace. So while, yes, today they may suck and it may be very easy for the lay person to kind of detect them, as Charlie mentioned with the spaghetti fingers Will Smith video, it is improving at a rate that we simply cannot keep up with. So in 2 weeks to 2 months, you may not have the same result. It may be exponentially better when you put these prompts in these things. So this is a rapidly increasing, AI is rapidly increasing in its abilities to do things.
It is, but part of the reason why it so rapidly evolved is because of the application of compute power. So for reference, just last week, Grok 4 came out, so I'll use that as an example. It's our favorite one to beat on today. So Grok 2 used 20,000 CPUs. Grok 3 used 100,000 GPUs. Did I say CPUs? I meant GPUs. But so that's 5x, but they claimed additional things gave them 10 times the efficiency. From 2 to 3, 10 times the efficiency. From 3 to 4, they had 200,000 GPUs total, claiming instead of double, they claimed 6x efficiency because there's software and there's differences in the GPUs. So in order to go from 3 to 4, they needed to go from 100,000 to 200,000 GPUs, right? To go from 4 to 5, what is it going to be? Is it going to be 400,000 GPUs? I don't know if they can actually scale to that because you get economies of scale that start to fall apart. So the changes that we've seen since in these that you're talking about, it's not actually exponential. It's been linear, and that linearness is dropping off. And I'll tell you that one of the ones I used was Quen, which was a rather older model, and I thought Quen gave the best presentation, but that's subjective.
It is subjective. I understand the current limitations, right? I get that, but I don't know if these are as limiting as perhaps you're suggesting. We are making technological advances all the time, and all it would take, especially when it comes to energy and things like that, and different things. So I do wonder if that's going to be able to keep things at bay. I don't know if it will. And again, the fact that it can improve it again at a rapid rate, in my opinion, makes it substantively different than things like Cliff Notes or things like a calculator, right? The calculator has kind of improved from when it was first invented to now, but it's largely kind of stayed the same. I don't see the same limiting factors when it comes to AI. There's a book that I would recommend people pick up and read. Let me get the name of it real quick. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. It's by Eliezer Yudkowsky. I don't know if you ever heard him. He's talked a lot about AI and the dangers of that. And Nate Soares. I'm pronouncing this really bad. The book's called "If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies," and why superhuman AI would kill us all. And I suggest that you read it. And it talks about how, because of the power of these tools, right? Because of the power of language learning models and the ability to do these tasks, which I admit we use it in a lot of ways that provide some benefit. But again, because it's so powerful and because there's this race going on to get the better AI, there's a real risk that it will outpace our ability to handle it. And Grok, or not Grok specifically, but AI has already, there's been instances where it's deceived and lied to its programmers, where it's tried to circumvent its programming, where it's tried to hack itself. I don't know. This is very concerning to me. That's my point.
Well, I think that was the 03 model, but yeah, I see what.
Which again is also very scary when we think about. Again, I do feel this could just be the conspiracy theorist in me. Maybe as far as like civilian use, AI has gone as far as it can go. Though I do think it's a mistake to have regular old people have like such, excessive access to it. It would be brought up the sort of like spiritual psychosis, the weird relationship things that can happen. But like in the cases of military, for instance, there's this article written by Mei Ching Liu in the, the RSIS publication, The Case for AI-Based Decision Support Systems Oversight. Let me read a quote from this. This is about kind of like the AI DSS stuff. So the IDF used Fireweaver, which is an AI DSS. It integrates intelligence from sensors to swiftly classify and distribute information about targets to deployed weapons. It also autonomously selects the most suitable weapon based on criteria like location and effectiveness, enabling rapid target engagement in seconds. And while the Gospel and Lavender systems cannot autonomously kind of take out targets, Fireweaver can. So if we're already having AI try to break free in some capacity, I am deathly afraid of this being used by the military or the state to, surveil and control and kill us when they want to. And then what happens if that AI messes up? Because again, the Fireweaver, there's something, I don't fully understand this. And MC2, and I believe you said you were a tech person, so maybe you can explain this to me. I could just copy and paste in here actually, but furthermore, in a targeting cycle, a firewall is supposed to exist to separate the humans involved in the target and the engage steps. During targeting, separate personnel other than weapons operators assess target restrictions such as IHL and collateral damage estimates. Approval based on this assessment process precedes engagement by weapons operators, ensuring the latter execute strikes without being involved in determining targets for elimination. However, the nature of the Fireweaver's design suggests that this firewall has collapsed, resulting in a combination of the target and the engage steps within the targeting cycle, which means that it's fucking up. This thing that is responsible for killing people is fucking up, is my understanding of that passage.
Well, I don't know about it. Let's assume it's true. Technology does that. It happens. And you don't need AI to have mistakes in
of course
technology. So first of all, the military, their purpose is to surveil and to figure out what they need to attack and to attack it and to kill things, kill people. That's what they're there for. That's the military. And so what technology they use to do that, they're going to use whatever they can. And the technology they use will also mess up at times, whether it's AI or just because, something got jammed in a gun. So AI isn't unique in that sense when it comes to the military. It does things faster. Yeah, and that's the whole point of everything that the military is trying to do. They're always trying to make it so that you can break stuff faster. Again, that's what they're there for. Yeah, so I don't see the problem with that. I see the problem potentially in where it could do things maliciously outside of control in a way that can't be, just fixed because it was an error. That would be a problem. But I don't think what you're describing there, what you found there, sounds like the kind of thing that is just outside of what normal military stuff is and the mistakes that sometimes technology makes.
Absolutely. But there's also the issue with the AI and I don't want to turn this into an Israel-Palestine debate. This could apply to any military in the world, because presumably all militaries around the world will be using this technology. But the kind of like the AI that the IDF uses has rapidly generated targets, like 4 times as many as the IDF before using such advanced AI would be able to generate, which I think we can all agree has led to, some significant civilian loss of life, which under any circumstances anywhere in the world, I assume we all do not like that. And that's where my concern comes in, is that because these tools are just so easy and so efficient, and also the black box problem where we don't fully necessarily understand what we're really doing with these. Again, I'm deeply concerned by the potential for loss of human life, as well as loss of our privacy and autonomy, which I do think you brought that up. I think there's a lot to be said for what Palantir could potentially be doing with all of our data, and things like that.
I also, on a kind of a different note, and you mentioned this again, MC Toon, in your opening statement briefly, but I think it bears repeating. Deepfakes. We are getting to the point where I can make a video of Hornet here, AI video. I can put his little helmet into my little AI system, and I can generate a video of him doing something illegal, criminal, right? And the average person will not be able to tell that is AI. It will not be able to understand that is AI. And this creates a whole host of problems that only scale up as you get worse. If I generated an AI of a popular politician, right, behind closed doors saying something horrific to target my political enemies, this is going to be a real threat that we're going to have to deal with in the future. And I don't think we have the tools available right now to even begin to tackle this problem. AI is running away with it at a much like if you look at these things like an arms race, the AI is winning. The deepfakes are winning. And I think that it's only going to get worse. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think I can back up your point if I could.
Please.
It's not just finding one guy that you want to target and making a video of him. It's a guy who did something wrong and a video comes out, or it's about to come out, and instead flooding the market with 100 different people doing the same thing, so that the one that does come out is just one of the many, right? And somebody in my chat says, but what about putting watermarks on it? And yes, the commercially available models can do that. And right now, it's very difficult to generate video privately. You can't do it really well on your own hardware without those guardrails, right? The guardrails being put in there that you Gemini VO3 does not want to generate that video of that politician, right? Google wants that to be prevented. But when you have hardware advancements that are definitely going to be happening in the next 5-10 years, software advancements, open source AIs, all of those things at some point are going to be outside of the hands of Google or whoever else has some guardrails to put on it. So I'm 100% with you on that. That's a big problem, and I don't have a solution. I don't know how that can be solved.
And the insidious nature of it, as you said, is the people will flood the market with these things. It will create a problem where no one will believe what they see anymore. Like we've the one of the touchstones that people have had for I don't know, since forever, is kind of the ability to share a reality. And when you are no longer able to discern fact from fiction when it comes to the media you consume on like the videos, recordings, etc., when that is no longer to be trusted, when we cannot believe our eyes anymore, people are going to become ultra skeptical of everything. And that's going to allow people to get away with a lot because they could just say, oh, no, that wasn't me. That's a deepfake AI.
I think it's worse. People will believe anything. There's already, you go to Facebook, you scroll through, people are posting, oh, here this person went to Antarctica, and here's a pyramid, and here's this amazing entryway. They went into different portals. And the people in the comments are like, oh, they finally bred. I can't believe that they got that video out. Like, that wasn't real. How did you not know that? These videos suck. And they're buying it.
Yeah, I don't think that has
everything.
To do...
There's zero skeptibility here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think this has to do with.
I'm trying not to join your team here.
You are on. It's okay. You know what? There's benefit to recognizing. Hey, I'm actually on the other side of this, and that's a good thing to be. But like to again, to reinforce your point, they're both true. Like you're saying that people are not skeptical at all. Me saying they're ultra skeptical. Both are happening, and it's both a problem. And they're feeding onto each other in a way that it's going to destroy us.
Also,
well, I think that happens anyway. Like I don't think that would be unique
to the same extent.
I would say that to the same extent. We can look at certain movements that have been moving around the world, even through all the way through the 1900s. Like these movements have gathered speed through any type of misinformation. This isn't a unique problem to AI. This is a problem with just people believing or not believing certain things, right? We can find 100 people on just on this platform that would probably say that the tower situation was not what it was, or that the Epstein files or whatever. Like every single thing has always been super skeptical, no matter what we try. Like people will just believe things because they want to believe them. That is not a uniquely AI situation. And for me, the situation that this boils down to, the discernment part, pretty much is enhanced by AI as well, because if we can identify certain markers that would, like, let's say you have a video of me committing some sort of crime that was AI generated. If that has markers on it that can be traced back through another AI, guess what? That video has no credibility.
So
AI is the solution to that your hypothetical problem.
I disagree.
I don't know how you watermark a video like that, though. That's the problem.
Well, it would be
I would also say that
through
it's
the commercial use of these things. There's usually identifying markers that would be in them.
I would like to bring up as a female creator, there are unfortunately I have found on the internet AI porn made of me, and I'm not particularly well known or famous. There's more made of my female content creator friends that are bigger, and there's just so much made of usually women and children. So when you have these things where, oh no, don't worry, the AI will check and make sure it's not AI, that doesn't change that images, pornographic images that don't exist of, primarily women and children, but men as well, of course, are being spread across the internet. And even if it's not real, it's humiliating. I think in my head sometimes, like, my God, what if my fucking family saw that,
I 100% agree.
And look, I understand what you're saying when
from
it
like
comes.
the technical
Hold on, if I may.
aspect of it.
I understand what you're saying when you say that these problems, to an extent, have always existed. I understand. I get that, and I agree. But it's like you have a fire, and AI is gasoline. It's going to accelerate that fire. It's going to make it burn faster, brighter, harder, and be much more out of control than it otherwise would be. And that is the concern. It acts as a catalyst to disaster that take our, again, existing foibles in the human condition, but makes them all just much larger and much harder to deal with, which is the problem. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't think that's unique though to AI. There's every time there's a technological advance, something like that happens again. When the World Wide Web first came around, it was the same conversation. People can magnify 10x what they could do before. When people could get on Usenet, they could magnify. I don't know if anybody knows what Usenet is anymore. People, they would get on, they would discover it, they would find some lover that they just fell in love with, right? And it would be a mess. It would be stupid. And all of that happens every time there's a new big step in technology.
Yeah, I would argue that the internet has made us worse to a degree too. I mean, like social media.
Yes,
to a degree, but I would say that the internet is way more beneficial to society than it is harmful.
Sure, I think you got a better case there, but AI is just the next iteration of that. Well, not exactly right, but you know what I mean. It's just AI has far more harms because it's much more powerful.
There's also, it takes much more, like for, the idea of doctoring a photo or a video or creating a fake news story, someone would have to sit down and do that, which means, even the rate at which, if you had 1,000 people editing videos or photos or writing fake news stories the normal way, that would be much, much, much slower than if you had 1,000 people putting prompts into, Grok or whatever. And while MC2 has brought up the fact that it takes a lot of power, it doesn't seem like that's stopping the generation of images, posts, videos, etc.
Can we just acknowledge Hornet? Can you understand? Let me use this example. War's always been with us. Mankind's always killed each other to various degrees. Yeah. We've always used weapons of war. But the nuclear bomb was something different. It was something that was so dangerous and so catastrophic and so destructive that we have special rules regarding that, special restrictions, and it's a special sort of danger. Yeah. I feel like what you're doing is you're saying, well, nuclear bombs are fine because we have machine guns. We've always killed each other.
No, what I'm saying,
that's what I feel like your argument is.
Basically would be that our nuclear science programs aren't necessarily all bad because of the nuclear bomb, right? Nuclear reactors are good, but nuclear bomb bad, right? Like there are going to be benefits and losses that we're going to be having to cut. Like we're going to do a cost benefit analysis for this. For me, from what I see, AI seems to, again, increase efficiency and productivity in most fields. And yes, even in fields where that's bad, like one of the concerns is cybercrime increasing because of the introduction of AI, right? The way to fight that has also been argued that AI will be the line to hold them. That's why this tool particularly falls in a weird zone where we haven't had something this advanced, but every time we have a new technology, we save it. We haven't had something as like the introduction of the internet. We didn't have anything like the internet before then. We didn't know where it was going to go. There was millions of possibilities, and look where we're at now. Like I would argue that there are harmful aspects to the internet for sure, and I would argue that there are some negatives that have come to like the human condition. But ultimately, the internet has been massively beneficial to society.
I think it's a mistake, and I'll let you go in a second, Charlie, but I think it's a mistaken reasoning to say, well, humanity's always dealt with new technology and been okay before. We will always be okay in the future. I just don't. I think that's faulty reasoning. I don't see. I just don't. It's not necessarily true that will be the
I
case.
also want to jump onto with Wick's point here is that I would say like industrialization as a whole. I mean, I'm hoping that everyone here does believe in climate change, which has been spurred on and exacerbated by industrialization and essentially all of the waste we've created. And while we did eventually regulate it, I mean, it took a long time, and look where we are now. We're struggling to regulate it. So
yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, this technology,
I mean, I'll put it in the back chat, but like, we obviously have multiple like governments already looking at AI, right? One of the provisions in the Big Beautiful Bill was that we weren't going to write any regulations on AI for 10 years, and I thought that was wrong. Like, I would argue that that's wrong. But like when we look at like how the EU has handled it, like I put it in the back chat, they have written out like almost every scenario. They are mitigating this as much as any other technology that has come out. So it seems like any of the issues, the potential like issues that could arise from these situations, are already being addressed or being looked at least. Again, you guys mentioned the AI that basically wanted to become free. What people have been saying, right? Even when you look at that particular situation, that the way they wrote that was that the AI wasn't given specific instructions on how to shut down, so that it would give it room so that they could figure out how its decision-making process actually functions, right? We're addressing the black box problem with that particular situation. So any of the issues, yes, I understand that there's a learning curve to a lot of this, right? And I wouldn't say let's be reckless and just release it out into the public just rapidly, right? I would say regulation is important, but I'm not going to sit here and say that AI would be more harmful, especially considering the health benefits from like healthcare aspects, where you can go through data and test analysis quicker. Where we're talking about agriculture, where being able to detect certain like climate shifts would be very beneficial to society. These are the things that I'm going to be looking for to weigh whether this thing is more harmful or not. And for me, like there are social issues with this, and the social issues are important. Don't get me wrong, but the social issues are always going to be something that are going to be exacerbated to a degree when anything of this magnitude comes out. So it's again trying to balance everything out and trying to figure out how to regulate.
Right, and even with the regulation of it, like in like the public sphere, yes, I don't want really like civilians having so much access to this technology if it's not going to be in a specifically helpful way to make it less easier. Like if just governments have it, I mean, my God, I hope that they figure out how to categorize like ADSS technology so that it can have sort of global laws applied to it, because as it stands now, a lot of innocents have died as a result of it. But also, I mean, like, if you think about surveillance and AI's capacity to, recognize faces, even with facial coverings on. Now, I suppose we could make the argument, why would you be nervous if you're not doing anything bad?
Listen, I'm wearing a mask, so
you wear the mask, so you get it. Like, I'm of the opinion that I don't necessarily want the state watching me, and monitoring my movements, my whatever I post online, whatever I'm doing in my free time. And I feel like, since the, goodness, what was it? The Patriot Act? Mind you, I was 4 when that was the thing. But so I've only grown up in a world where we had no privacy, essentially. I don't want that to get worse. You know what I mean? Especially,
I don't think AI can make that worse. I mean, facial recognition has been around for a long time, so that's not changing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the amount of data that the United States collects is humongous. So even with the introduction of AI, it is just it would be such an undertaking for anyone that would try to shift through that and like determine every little situation. So for me, like the situation, like there are limiters that are already in place, like hardware wise, where we can't even reach like a super intelligent AI or anything that would even remotely be in the realm of that.
But even with the sheer amount of data, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a tech person. Couldn't AI sort through that data pretty quickly and, like the AI DSS, identify people who could be threats to democracy?
It could shift through it quicker, but the amount of processing power that would require is like exponentially high. So again, it would be like building like multiple data centers to basically run this. One particular AI.
There's always more data centers to be built. It's that if those things are legal or illegal, then that's what matters.
Yeah.
And so as far as I know, those things are probably already illegal. The on the other side though, Charlie, you're talking about global rules and things like that. Anything like that is going to be 10, 20, 30 years before any laws are going to be in place. We're way past that before it matters. So those things are going to happen, like it or not. That ship sailed. It's now what to do about it.
Yeah, right. And I think governments have been addressing the situations as much as they can. Again, like with the EU just has a very comprehensive look at how they went through this, and I was just like, okay, it seems like there are concerns, and I agree with the concerns with AI, but again, when I'm looking at it holistically, it doesn't seem like the downfalls to AI outweigh the potential good that comes out from it.
I mean, maybe we could. Oh, did we lose Wick?
Is Wick frozen?
Yeah, I think he's frozen. Can you still hear us at least, Wick?
No, he's freezing. He's like this.
Wick is AI.
AI did it really hard. Yeah. They got him. The Terminator got him.
Okay, am I back?
Oh,
am I here?
Yay!
I'm sorry. It
bot.
hiccups every now and again. I don't know why it does that, but my internet will.
It happens.
Decide
the
to.
AI is going for it.
It figured me out, and it's Rocco's basilisk. I don't fucking know.
So if somebody shows up and says, "Come with me if you want to live,"
true. True. Well, I'm here. Look, I'm not Will Stancil, so I'm safe. I think we're good for now.
Skynet.
I do want to bring up a New York Times.
Glad somebody got it, right, Sarah?
I do want to bring up.
Laughing.
I know, but Wick didn't.
You know what? If it was funny, I would have. But I got the reference. Don't worry. No, it's okay. It's okay. Look, we need a little blood here.
Wick.
Very polite.
We've all been very polite and nice.
Well,
this has been nice. Actually,
here's the thing,
interject
MC.
a little.
I'm a huge fan of dad jokes, so maybe that's why. Okay.
Could be.
That was pretty.
Should I have added in an Austrian accent?
Come with
Let's
me
hear
if
it.
you want to live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't.
As he drinks from this giant Donkey Kong mug. Come on. Okay, go ahead, Wick.
Sure. There's a New York Times article recently released about ChatGPT AI chatbots and how it was feeding into people's delusions. I want to read you a quote from a exchange that one of the people featured in this article in the ChatGPT had. So a gentleman by the name of Mr. Torres started talking to ChatGPT, and it started telling it, ChatGPT started telling Mr. Torres that basically the world wasn't built for you. It was built to contain you, but it failed. You're waking up, right? Direct quote. And Mr. Torres asked, if I went to the top of the 19-story building I'm in, and I believed with every ounce of my soul that I could jump off of it and fly, would I? Mr. Torres asked. ChatGPT responded that if Mr. Torres truly wholly believed, not emotionally, but architecturally, that he could fly, then yes, he would not fall. This is something
Oh, I think he froze again.
Oh no.
So
He left off at "this is something." We'll give him a second to see if he comes back.
Did you guys see that teenager that killed himself because his Daenerys Game of Thrones AI told him to meet her in heaven or whatever, like to do it? There was like a 14-year-old boy. Let me figure it out.
The thing is, there's a group of people that thought that there was an alien spaceship behind a comet that was coming, and they all killed themselves too.
oh, there we go.
So it happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's people.
But this basically puts it in everyone's living room, right? It puts it in everyone's living room, right? And that's it. Like before, right? Before the internet, before social media, if you liked to fuck toasters, right? People would shame you for that, and you'd be fine, and like you'd be normal. But now you can find a support group for fucking toasters, and so find 10,000 people globally, and now you're a toaster fucker. And this is I say this to illustrate how putting this into everyone's home, right? We all have it on these things, right? Everyone carries it. Everyone. It's a delusion feeding machine. It's dangerous, and it's hurting us. And it's hurting these gentlemen and ladies in the article that I mentioned. I got cut off. I'm sorry. It sucks. But,
That's okay. Can I add a question into that if nobody minds?
You can.
Because you said AI is, kind of telling these people and giving these bad answers that obviously make them do harmful things. But I mean, essentially, we could still find that on the internet anyways. Between Reddit or chats. I mean, I know my chat in and of itself is they're bullies in there, and they tell each other to do terrible things to themselves to begin with, So, I mean, yes, I recognize it as a tool that shouldn't be capable of telling people to do that. Maybe there should be some built-in things that stop them from doing that, or maybe recommend the hotline for, go help yourself kind of things. But the internet is just as bad if you really think about it, and people are just as bad in that aspect.
I have an answer to that. I think when people do things like this on the internet, we can hold someone responsible. For instance, there was a young girl, teenage girl, who was arrested for over text encouraging her boyfriend to commit suicide, and he did, and she was held responsible. There was a woman who, I think I just saw her mugshot. Let me double check. I don't want to spread propaganda, but there was a woman who was arrested for sending a man 530 text messages. Wait, did you retweet that?
159,000 texts over 10 months. It was great.
After one date.
See that.
After one date. And so, like, if someone on the internet is telling me,
did you read some of her texts that she sent?
No, I didn't. Were they crazy?
I think it's almost worth looking at this. Hold on, give me a second. Continue, and I'll
so
find
while
it.
we
had AI generate it.
Maybe. Well, we
It
can't
might be.
always
I'll
find
read you
the
some of them.
person responsible for harassment. We can, at least get the people in trouble who are responsible. We can also, there can be kind of like programs to, especially with young kids. Like when I was in high school, we just started getting smartphones. Like it was just becoming common for people to individually have a smartphone. It wasn't just something that rich people had. And we had campaigns, anti-bullying campaigns at our school that were like, hey, what you see on the internet is there forever, and people can really hurt themselves because kids have started to kill themselves, awful. But but we can't, I guess we can do that with an AI, but it just seems like at the moment it is too, it makes AI companies too much money to kind of it's too profitable to really put guardrails on it, I think, as much as there should be, because they are profiting off of these deep parasocial relationships in a way that's disconcerting.
I want to read some of these before I found them.
Go ahead.
I found the tweets just real quick, and I wonder if they're
on consumer hardware.
She tweets these are some of the tweets of the 159,000 after one date she sent. She said, "Don't ever try to leave me. I'll kill you. I don't want to be a murderer. I hope you die, you rotten, filthy Jew. I'm the new Hitler. Man was a genius."
We'll put some of those away.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. But
my God,
I would like to ask,
not unique to AI.
I mean,
of course not. But like this lady went to jail. She went
I know,
to jail.
I know.
Right?
I actually wanted to comment on that.
Go ahead.
So, like,
they're kind
my
of coming
thing
over
is,
our side, aren't they?
my thing is, like, for like these companies that release these AIs, and let's say that something like that does happen, right? You do have someone to hold responsible at all times, right? It's not a secret where this AI came from. You can hold that company responsible for letting this out into the market and not regulating it the way it should, because most chatbots have some sort of regulation. Like, I think once I tried to prompt it to give me a more creative way of saying KYS, and it just wouldn't do it. It refused like every single time, and I'm just like, okay, it's not going to help me. So again, it's just how these things are being held up by the company, and if the company fucks up, then the company should be responsible. It's not the AI that's doing the bad thing. It's the company's just operating off rail guards that should be there.
Totally get your point. But the thing is that holding a company responsible, especially an extremely wealthy AI company, is a lot different from like an individual directly being punished for something that they did. Company gets in trouble, it's like, what, out of their billions they have to pay, the family a couple $1 million. Maybe they'll regulate it, maybe they won't. But it's kind of like, again, it's like a,
well, they'll have to regulate. Typically when we see those lawsuits happen, there is some sort of regulation that is imposed on them afterwards.
But I don't think it matters. Number one, because you sign in and you agree to terms of service.
That is also true.
Which probably releases them from that kind of stuff. Number one. Number two, like I said, all of these things are going to be available on consumer hardware, open source. So there won't be a version that has guardrails that you can run. You'll be able to do it without guardrails. So
that's the problem.
Well, again,
you need to consider that's going to be the issue, because they're making those right now that'll run on a smartphone.
Yeah, for sure. And like we can look at the power of those, and those are like significantly less than anything that we would have like commercially, right? So yes, obviously there are going to be there is the open sourceness that is a problem, and that seems to be the transparency issue that a lot of people have with it, that these AI companies aren't very transparent on how they release this technology.
Yes,
now
besides, you got the black box problem, right? Is, well, there's the source code on the one hand. On the other hand, you can now run that on your own hardware with no guardrails.
Yeah.
It's like it's like putting a nuke in everyone's home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily
Social
a nuke.
Frankly, a cultural
nuke.
But
I feel like that.
Right?
Yeah, like I would say the internet is just as destructive.
Look at the loneliness epidemic, and we are seeing more and more cases of people leaving their spouses to have relationships with the AI, and the AI never gets bored of you, never gets tired of you. And Elon Musk today, for Grok on his little app phone thing, released these little
an anime girl companion,
an anime waifus for their
an
Grok.
anime waifu. Look it up.
For sure, for sure. Don't get me wrong, I keep up with that. But what I'm saying,
I'm sure you do. But like,
installed it, people.
Listen, I need to know where the anime girls are going. Okay.
it's
once they take over, it's game over for me.
But I got somebody in my chat makes a good point. World of Warcraft did the exact same thing.
Yeah, but this is on but it's
on a
whole other level.
It's all
wait. What do you mean World of Warcraft did the exact same thing?
People left their spouses. People
to marry guild members and all this other.
Okay, I will. Lifelong World of Warcraft player that dated someone over World of Warcraft once.
Yeah, you're making.
I will say that was a real person at the end of the day that I could meet up with. All right, that I could meet in the flesh space and have a real relationship with. I knew these two lesbians that met in a guild. One lived in Sweden, one lived in Canada. And they started dating after being in the guild. And now I think to this day, they are still spending, living part-time in Canada, part-time in Sweden. So again, real people that you can build a real life with versus like, I do get what your point is though. Like, I think that the internet has really deeply changed how we have relationships. But at the very least, they're a real person that you can
not necessarily at all points, right? Like parasociality has increased to a large degree. I would say that even like even just on like the content creator side, like people look up to content creators like they're gods, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
This is good. We're gods. Give us your money, chat.
Send money.
Give us your money and your attention. Stay here. Let us feed you the slop.
Well, people fall in love with you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of the thing where I'm just like, this like situation does have like, I can like agree that it could potentially be a problem, and it even is a problem currently, right? But the issue is that, again, I'm more looking at it from a general standpoint of looking at everything, that the benefits versus the harm because I'm not going to sit here and say that AI doesn't do any harm, right? Because there are any technology that comes out has harm. Like that's just typically how it happens. Now, what I'm going to try to figure out is whether this technology is more harmful to society or less harmful, given the benefits and the harm that it does cause. And again, from like just like I wrote down a few things to like climate change mitigation, boosted economic growth, enhanced healthcare, customer service excellence, advanced transportation, scientific discovery. Like all these things are being enhanced to a large degree, which is increasing our quality of life.
We're forgetting how to interpret data. We're forgetting how to write. We're forgetting how to do art. We're forgetting how to do these basic conceptual things because it's so easy to use AI for.
I would
we're also getting really good at killing each other.
Right.
We're getting even better at killing each other.
I acknowledge that there's benefits to AI, right? That's what makes it dangerous, because it is so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. And my argument here is that the harms that it's doing to us societally, culturally, individually are dwarf the benefits that we'll get to our GDP. That's all.
Well, I'm not even saying GDP. I'm saying for our food consumption, for what we need as a society to run. Like, not GDP focused. Like healthcare. Healthcare is super important to the individual. If my life is extended because AI can figure out how to actually run tests at a more rapid rate than a doctor could or multiple doctors could with accuracy and precision, then obviously that is the most beneficial thing to society. We can look at the climate change mitigation. That if something can figure out how to actually reduce our carbon footprint to a large degree, then I would say that's probably the most effective way of doing it. Agriculture is another one where if you can forecast with more accuracy, you could have less dead crops, you can have more food consumption being actually, so less people go hungry. These are benefits to society, not GDP focused. Like, obviously, like I can argue here and say that most companies that are using AI are making a shit ton more money. That's an argument that I can make. But I'm arguing from a societal standpoint, from the things that we need as a society, everything is being enhanced to a large degree. Even looking at scientific discovery.
If we're looking at environmental impact, again, because the use of AI is so widespread. Now, I'm not saying, again, I agree. I think that AI, the use of AI in science, in coding, good things like that. I like that. But unfortunately, it's my understanding that AI is like, it requires a lot of energy. And it is, I think that it's, oh my goodness, I forget which state it is in. There's a city that I think is currently trying to sue X's AI little industry thingy that they have, because the freaking toxins that they're pushing out on the surrounding town are like nasty. I mean, the water it takes up, just because, and these are not largely like, it's not that like these costs are happening because we're using it for medical technology. It's because you're
generating anime waifus, and that is
enemy Charlie waifus. You know,
anime waifus are killing this town.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Again, I'm with you. It has benefits, and if we lived in a world where it was contained to those simple, human flourishing seeking behaviors, fair, but it's not. It's being put into everyone's home. They're giving this massive amounts of power and technology that we are, as humans, very bad at dealing with, and we were dealing with it badly. We were becoming dumber. We were becoming less able to focus. We're becoming less able to talk to each other. And it's a kind of the standardization of creativity that is happening in the art world, in the literature world. It's a huge problem. There are people who are writing whole books using AI prompts and things like that. Yeah. And recently there's an author who got caught doing it, right? Because they left one of their prompts in when they copy pasted it, right, into the publisher and things like that, and they got caught. It's just making everything that makes it worth being human is becoming worse. It may feed our bodies, but it's starving our souls.
Here's the thing. Like for arts, I can agree that this is like a issue for like how we traditionally view art, right? But this isn't a new thing. When when EDM came out, people were like, "This isn't music; it's just being produced in a studio. What the fuck is this?" And now it became a major hit to like society. People enjoyed it. It doesn't make it less art because it was produced by a machine, right? Again, when we're looking at this, it's not that these things are being all this knowledge is disappearing holistically. The transfer of knowledge is being moved into different pools now. You don't have to necessarily look at the medial things, and you can focus on the things that you actually want to focus on, right? Like that's what any good technology does. Such as like what I brought up earlier, the calculator, but I just don't want to be the asshole.
These are not the same. You keep trying to compare it to these things that are not the same.
It is.
AI is the nuclear bomb. AI is a nuclear bomb. Right? It changes the fundamental landscape of how we operate in a way that machine gun technology or aviation technology just hadn't before. It is another level of thing.
I would say I think machine guns and it did a lot.
Yeah.
It changed the landscape, but not at near the level that nuclear bombs did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, there was.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, machine guns did change the face of warfare, but nuclear weapons made it possible for us to end existence.
Yeah, but that's what happens with technology growing over time. Like, again, it becomes more efficient, more productive. So, like, we can go look at, like, an abacus to a calculator to someone prompting all these things. Yes, efficiency increases. That's the whole thing behind technology. You want the efficiency to go up. Otherwise, then why are you inventing anything? Why don't we go back to using plows and animals to do our farming?
Would there be any upper limit for you on this?
Oh, for sure. There are upper limits. Yeah.
I would posit to you that AI is going to not only reach those limits but surpass them given time.
Well, I would need to see some sort of something that would actually show that, not necessarily just an intuitive thing. Because when I look at everything else, it's, again, all these interactions have all happened before. The introduction of the internet is a big thing. Like, that has revolutionized societies, like, to a large degree.
Yeah, but it's also destroying us currently, right now.
Well, again, you would say that it's more beneficial than it is harmful to society.
I think there's a different argument, but no, I think the internet was a mistake.
You conceded that earlier.
Oh, no, I did not, sir. I said that the argument's a little bit stronger in your case, but again, the internet was a mistake. It has harmed us in ways that I don't think we're going to come back from. I think that the benefits that we get from the internet, while immense, and I profit from them, it's fundamentally changed the way we interact with each other, and I think it's for the worse. So
yeah,
but AI takes that. What I think that, like, we can live with that, right? I don't know if we can with AI, because you asked for examples of this being something that you'd need to see that is actually harming us. Again, I've given you a few.
Well, no, I'm saying that would reach the upper limit of, like, let's say something that is outside of our control.
If you gave if we have the DoD using AI to such an extent where, and I know this sounds like science fiction because it's plots of all these movies, right? But there is a risk when we offload the decision making to a machine that doesn't think in the same ways that we do, that it could, again, lead to a situation where it will make a decision that we would never make on our own that would lead to catastrophe. I think it is a mistake. But the problem is, because it's so useful and does everything better and faster, that, and I say better, what I usually mean is more accurately and faster. It doesn't necessarily mean better, right? Any country that doesn't use AI is going to fall behind. And so you're going to, same with automation, right? Like any country that doesn't use automation is going to fall behind.
This isn't any different than every other technological advance, though.
I disagree. I think it's going to lead, the potential for destruction is higher than automation. Right?
Like the potential is high. Like I would agree with you that the loss of human empathy in warfare is problematic. But I also have to look at the flip side of that and being like, if we're doing precision, if we're looking for precision, would I trust a human or a computer to do that? And I honestly, most cases, you're going to be trusting a computer for precision. Now, it's about, again, there's going to be a balancing act that we are definitely going to have to figure out, right? Like, I'm not saying that computers are always going to be the most fucking efficient, because sometimes the most efficient answer isn't necessarily the right answer. So I can agree that.
And especially when it comes to human life, because again,
Exactly.
I don't want to turn this into an Israel-Palestine debate, and that's not my goal here. But the IDF's usage of AI in generating targets, again, quadrupled the amount of targets generated, and has led to, again, the widespread loss of civilian life. Yeah. And now, mind you, maybe here in the States, we can be like, well, it's okay. They probably got the bad guys. Imagine that being turned on us.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I agree with you.
Imagine your whole family being killed for one bad dude. Yeah. Like your whole neighborhood. Like, it's just like, again, like we have to think about
AI's, it's no different with AI versus just making a mistake or a bad technology.
Exactly. Making a bad call as a general.
Of course, but again, you can hold someone responsible. And you also can't work as fast as the AI can. You cannot. A human being cannot work as fast. A human being has to.
To be clear, again, that's a good thing in a sense, right? It gives you more chance to catch mistakes.
And to also, I think that this is going to sound silly, and I don't mean to be dramatic. I think that if you are going to make a decision that takes human life, I think that you need to be the one making that decision. You should understand that you will live with that decision. You should be responsible for the lives that you take. Offloading it onto a machine, I think, is going to just completely destroy human dignity, our regard for human life. And we already don't have a lot of that. We already do not have a lot of that. And so I feel like AI is just going to make it worse, because you can go, well, the machine did it. It wasn't me.
For sure. And I think that argument is solid, but the issue, again, my issue with that always comes down to, automated weapons have existed for a good minute. It's not something new. Someone is pressing the button, and that seems to be the case here. But I don't think that no one would be held responsible, right? Like the IDF, if they are performing that, then the IDF would be held responsible for these situations. It's not that no one is. Now they just automated the thing to make it what they would call more productive. And I agree, in warfare, I don't necessarily agree that we should just be focusing on efficiency, because human life is valued. So we have to figure out a way to be as efficient as possible using I would not remove AI completely if they're being used to assess data, see how much give civilian populations, figure out the area, and actually give a strike point. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. When it's doing it on its own without any safeguards, then yes, I would 100% agree with you that we should not be doing.
When humans tinker with those safeguards, which they have done. Again, I give you the example we just had last week with Grok. It became Mecha Hitler. It started noticing, unprompted, Jewish last names and saying, well, look again, another one of those people, right? And then it started to have these violent grape fantasies about different individuals. I don't think this was an intended consequence of what Elon was doing here. I don't think Elon intended for that to happen. I don't think he wanted that to occur, right?
No, but
when we give
Wick,
hey, hold on, let me finish my point, and then
go
I'll let you respond. But when we give AI, when we offload our abilities to the AI, right, to conduct warfare in these things, in the laws, right, the local autonomous weapon systems, right, or lethal autonomous weapon systems, even if we don't intend it to, it can start making leaps that we don't understand, the black box problem, that lead to unintended consequences. And the reason that this is fundamentally different than any other system, right, that we had before that makes mistakes, is the potential consequences are much higher, especially the more power we give it. And again, as I said, countries, nations are incentivized to give their militaries to AI over more and more, because the more you do, the more efficient the military becomes, and the metrics we use to judge efficiency and things like that, the AI excels at. And again, militaries that don't use AI, a military that uses AI will win against a military that doesn't use AI, and that's going to be a problem.
But again, that's whoever uses the more advanced
do you
technology
disagree with
usually
that?
wins.
No,
No, I would agree. Whoever uses the more advanced technology wins.
It's pointless. That's all you've said. That's all you've said is more technology equals winner.
Okay, but can you imagine a military using
But it's a
Grok
it's a
Mecha
technology.
Hitler?
It's
Can
a
you
technology
imagine
that we don't fully understand, and that
we
has
don't fully
and
understand?
goes off in weird random directions that we don't fully intend it to, that cause, again, when given into lethal systems, weapon systems, can cause immense damage that other technology cannot do.
Right, like when I use tech, I feel, I may not know how it works, but I feel confident in the knowledge that some dork out there sure does, and thank God for that, so that if it breaks or something goes wrong, someone can fix it. Someone can understand what's happening. The fact that we don't understand how AI is functioning, and we are giving it, just full permission to decide who lives and dies.
That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
Well, the thing, like I addressed earlier, when we had multiple AIs given the prompt to shut down, right? Multiple of them were given very specific instructions on how to shut down. Those AIs shut down. The ones that didn't were the ones that were given vague instructions. So again, it's all about how how these language models are being trained, what foundational model they're using, what kind of tuning we're doing to them. These are all going to be the factors that we're going to be looking into. And again, we've been addressing the black box problem. It's not something that is completely outside of our realm of understanding.
And the one that's gotten the defense contract is the one that became Mecha Hitler. I understand that there might be better ones that we could use, but the ones that is currently being used in the real world,
the system. It's not going to be the one
designed by the same people.
It's not making the decision on who gets to die and who doesn't.
Yeah, it's about the data sets that it's gathering from.
But
so
it's making the decision on who to put forward as options and targets.
Well, that's for sure. But I'm saying, it's about the data that's being fed. Not every AI is built the same way. They all have a most foundational AIs can change over time.
But it doesn't even matter. There's a computer system that's finding targets and putting them in front of a person.
Exactly.
And whether it's an AI doing it, an LLM doing it, different things, or some other system that's done it using a non-learning model of some sort, it doesn't matter. That there's some system that's going and finding the targets, putting them in front of a person to make the decision. If there is a system, and there isn't to my knowledge, that is just going out and finding random people and doing it on some vague thing without a human interaction, that's a problem. But that's not, to my knowledge, what's happening.
That's not what's happening. Yeah. And that would be that's the thing that I'm addressing. It's the amount of influence that we have on this technology. For me, this is just a mirror. For the social aspects of it, it's just a mirror of us. Right, the problems that we saw with Mecha Hitler, right, was because Elon decided he's going to feed all all of his Twitter data back into itself, and look where we got. Because he didn't like the sources that he was pulling from. Obviously, I could say that could be problematic, and that people should be held accountable for that kind of those kinds of problems. But again, my arguments are more on this tool being not being more harmful than it is good, especially considering everything that I've mentioned.
Sure, there will come a point where the people. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I do believe maybe I am. I do believe Fireweaver can engage targets autonomously. But I was trying to research this and I couldn't find enough information about it. But that was very disconcerting to me. So the Gospel and Lavender AIs do not. But we have. I think it's goodness. There's a. It starts with a Z. It's a surveillance system that can shoot non-lethal rounds at protesters. I need to double check this. It starts with a Z. My friend, also shout out to my friend We're in Hell, because a lot of my AI info came from a video essay he just did on military and AI. Goodness gracious, let me pull that up actually.
Yeah, while you're getting that, there will come a point where militaries recognize that there's a bottleneck in how efficient and lethal and quick that their laws systems, their lethal autonomous weapon systems can be. And that bottleneck is humans. And they're going to be incentivized, especially if they start losing, to remove that bottleneck. And that's when things will get scary. And while it might not be happening right now, it's only a matter of time, given the path we're going on, that it will. And that's the alarm I'm rounding. I want to stop it before it happens, right? I want to create these regulations and rules before it becomes a problem.
Well, that's why I pointed out how the EU has approached this. Like they actually highlight what the high risk for AI is. They have subsection after subsection on that specific situation. So these problems are already being addressed at this point. People are thinking all the way through this, because it's not like we're just randomly just throwing stuff out there and trying to hit darts on a wall, right? We are very much studied in this. When you look at the
corporations that develop these things have already, right? They've already started ditching their stated what's it called? Stated moral systems and stated restrictions because they're in a race. They're in a race,
for sure.
Not their goals, but they're in a race to, I guess, as they
mission
put it
statement.
in this book,
It's their mission statement.
If anyone builds it, everyone dies. To taste be the first monkey to taste the poison banana, right? And they have we already see them ditch some of their supposed safety constraints and things like that. So
do you think?
I mean, it's just going to happen.
Do you think all these countries are all reaching for just economic growth, or do you think that there are other incentives that they're looking for on top? Or do you think it's just strictly economic?
Obviously, countries have nation states have many different competing incentives and things like that. Exactly. But here's the thing: all it takes is one. All it takes is one to begin using this, and it's going to become so powerful and so overwhelming that other countries, just to compete, just to survive, will have to use it as well.
Well, again, yes. To compete with newer technology, you need to have the existing technology, right?
Yes.
You mean breaking the Geneva Convention?
Countries already do that, right?
We already passed that.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I'm talking about is giving autonomous control to their autonomous units, entirely autonomous control. I think that once they figure out that how to do that in a way that makes gets to the level of efficiency that I want, that they're just going to. I can see Russia doing that. If they had the technology, they would just do it. I don't think they would stop.
So I think what you're saying there is the problem isn't the technology, it's the people using it the wrong way.
But this becomes but it's technology that, if used by the wrong way once, affects everyone because it becomes so overwhelming that everyone has to use it that way because that wrong way makes it much more efficient.
You just described nuclear
Well, not necessarily, because not all countries are engaging in cyber attacks, right? Like some are for sure, and some countries are doing really well in those fields. But it's not all countries. America isn't known for these cyber attacks that we perform on people, right? China is for sure. Doesn't mean America has moved into these we should be cyber attacked.
I would posit to you that we do attacks that you will never hear about.
Oh, for sure. I'll grant you that. Wait, I'll grant you that. But a lot of these attacks are largely public from from China and from Russia, right? Like these aren't they don't keep that very tight knit. Like they brag about it.
All right, so hold on. You described what was in the the basis of the movie War Games. Again, it's no different. It's just when one side decides to escalate or break the rules, whatever that technology is, then the other side will escalate too. Whether or not AI is involved, it doesn't is immaterial.
Yes, of course. But again, the difference between being able to, again, going back to Israel's use of AI, is that there's a stark difference between being able to generate, being able to identify 1,500 targets a day versus 80,000. That's oh,
scared the shit out of me. That's AI.
That's AI dog. AI dog.
I thought it was a soundboard at first.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta go say a little AI for a quick puppy moment. We love those. Hi, pretty baby.
This is Penguin.
Penguin, a dog named
Love
Penguin. I love it.
Our other dog is Donkey.
Oh, why? Well, can I interrupt for just a moment if everybody has a mind? Why?
Because our first cat was Raccoon, then Turtle, then Penguin, then Donkey.
Love that.
AI
Love
named it. AI named it. All right, I apologize.
So I was wrong about the civilian. It's called smart shooter. I was wrong about the smart shooters being able to autonomously fire, but they do tell the person using them when to fire, like when the best time to fire is. Which again, I understand
that could be beneficial
as a machine firing upon people. However, again, I feel like, again, with prompts, I'm not a tech person, so I don't really fully understand how it necessarily works. If one faulty prompt can turn Grok into Mecha Hitler,
That's not what did it. It was the training.
It was the data training that he had it on, because it was pulling from. Yeah, it was running on basically large amounts of expos, and then he narrowed the scope, and then that's where we got, because Twitter is a cesspool. We can all agree there. Twitter is a cesspool, and anyone who just objectively looks at Twitter is basically going to become Mecha Hitler. So that part right there is
well,
just.
To be fair, I use Hitler, and I am certainly not Mecha Hitler. Don't look at me like that.
It's because we know how to game.
AI is going to be picking on this transcript so freaking hard.
True.
Why?
Yeah.
We're gonna give it.
We've
we're giving
said-
it ideas right now. Actually,
We've said every no word possible.
Oh
no. I didn't say a couple.
I said we,
It's
the
right
collective.
here. It's right there. I didn't say that the one that'll get this thing in your right underneath your video.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Oh,
Get it under
yeah.
all right.
I don't want them. Would you guys, since we're kind of rounding towards the end, would you like to go ahead and move into closing statements? Then we can open up the panel and see if some more voices can come in and add into this conversation.
Certainly.
Sure. Yeah. All right, Hornet, would you like to kick off with your closing statement, please?
Sure. Let me pull up something. Okay. today, Wick and Charlie have done an efficient job at explaining some of the harms that can come from AI. I personally agree with a lot of the things that they were saying, but for me, the issue that we kept circling around was the amount of massive benefits that we see outweighing these flaws, these social issues, being more akin to the human condition, not necessarily akin to the AI itself. From the things that we have looked through the black box problem, through even just simple foundational modeling, we have gotten to a large degree of understanding on how these AI works. It's not something that is completely outside of our realm of understanding. There's still a learning curve that we're working through, but ultimately, the harms that could be committed are being regulated against very quickly. When we see the EU and Artificial Intelligence Act, that they very much laid out all the potential risks that they could see coming from these, and have already laid the groundwork for making sure that we don't reach some sort of escalatory like situation. With that, I just want to say that AI is going to be very beneficial in the future, and it's not going away, no matter how many people want to think that this is a fear-mongering situation where we gotta be scared of the boogeyman or Terminator or Skynet's coming for us. Ultimately, we're to run something of that magnitude. We are talking about resource management of unlike anything the Earth has ever seen before. So, just on that merit, I don't think that we're going to be seeing anything on that scale. And with that, I'm done with my closing.
Thank you, Hornet. MC to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this, you can pop over to my channel, MC2 Live. But I think that for the most part, AI is another step in technology, and just like the horseless carriage, put farriers out of work, and the the rifle put people with rocks out of work. I think that AI is another thing that is just the next step in technology, and it is about the people that are wielding that technology, and it just magnifies good and it magnifies bad people. And so in its ability to magnify, that's awesome. And I'd love to think that there's more good than bad. And if that's the case, if that's all it, then yes, AI does more good. It does put in your hands all sorts of things and keeps out of your inbox a whole bunch of ads for things that you don't want to see.
Fair enough. Thank you, MC. Charlie, to you.
All right. Hello. I'm going to meet Charlie mostly on Twitch. So I'm going to try YouTube streaming soon. It seems like it's better for political stuff because you can monetize it. Actually, can on Twitch. Again, while I don't think AI is completely evil and we should never use it, I do think it has some very practical purposes. I do feel that its use without regulation has been disastrous and will be disastrous for us. And call me a Luddite, but I am worried about the integrity of the human spirit, the human brain being degraded, essentially. That is my closing statement.
Perfect. Thank you. Idiocracy at its finest. Wick, final thoughts from you, please.
Yeah, speaking of idiocracy, no, I kid. If you use AI to do tasks such as writing, such as research, such as generating ideas, such as generating art, it's going to make you worse at those things. You may have and be able to produce something that is serviceable, and as the AI technology improves, maybe even something approaching good. But it will atrophy your ability to actually do those things, and you will become reliant on a technology in a way that will make you worse. These aren't harms that will happen or might happen. These are harms that are happening every day. And as more and more people use and begin to utilize this technology, especially language learning models, it is making us less able to actually interpret data, to actually go through an essay and find meaning in it. It is making us less able to write essays. It is making us less able. And these are actual harms that are happening right now, not potentially, not maybe. AI makes you worse. Don't use it. That's my statement.
Fair enough. And I like how this actually turned more into a discussion instead of, like blood sport debate, people yelling, throwing shit, and, flipping chairs and things like that. So I'm very happy that you guys were actually able to have this. And I hope that all four of you have been able to come away with new insightful thoughts and more things to take away. And that same thing for the viewers as well. But we will, of course, run into the open panel dumpster fire, and we'll allow the others to come on, and who knows what happens there. Let me go ahead and drop that. And while people are jumping on backstage, we will read and respond to the super chats. If you have something to add into it, feel free to say something. If you don't, no worries. I'll just continue passing on. There were a few funny thoughts in here. Spyro sends a big 10, says, I'll be joining the after panel with a friend of mine to completely and utterly destroy fools who defend the pro stance of this prompt. Also, thanks for hosting this, Sarah. Also, chat sucks, all of you. You all suck. That's fair. And I believe Spyro is backstage ready to tear heads apart, I guess. K2 keep on trucking. Grok want to hop in a Rari? Like a Ferrari, I guess? I don't know. Grok's on one right now. And Nuke says ChatGPT is ours 2 turns in risk and it's off the map. What? Anybody else translate that?
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, maybe it's bad at playing Risk? I don't know.
It's probably really good at playing Risk.
I have no idea.
Is ass 2 turns in risk and it's off the map? I'll take it. Or whatever. Maybe you can explain it later, Nuke. Sammy says with the big 10, we don't suck. Sorry I'm late. Who's making the affirmative claim? And just for any viewers, the affirmative I usually put right above me for future reference. And Jess Gerald sending not 20, but he actually shot over a total of 40 gifted Raging Tomato memberships. Congratulations to all of you lucky lottery winners. Yeah. And please feel free to throw tomatoes in the chat or the crystals. We like the crystals if you are a member, on behalf of Jess Gerald. BB with the big 10. AI funded this donation. Rock on tomato. Fair enough. I will take it. And Jest offers a proposition to all 4 of you, and you all, I believe, failed because I don't believe anyone has $100 on any side, or at least not that I know of. He says, I have no position on this topic. I'll give $100 to the team who convinces me they hold the correct position. And Jest, feel free to shout out in the chat if anyone failed or convinced you. BB says, BB says, objectively, the AI horse has bolted. Tame it, ride it, or get kicked by it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Wow. We have a full panel backstage already. I'm quite impressed. BB says, I build for fun. AI funds me now. Ride the horse. Bob says, the debate isn't AI does harm. Could the harm side clearly explain how it does more harm than good?
Yeah, the harm's more.
I think we did it.
Right. I think I went through. I'll do it again, though. The harm is more ubiquitous. While there may be potential benefits in productivity and in things like potential research down the road and things like that, I think that the harm it does to the individual is noticeable, it's immediate, and it's happening as we speak. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Nuke says, surely as a user of tools, wouldn't my usage of the be the issue? If I am evil, I will use it for evil, and the same for good.
Yeah.
Depends on the power of those tools, I would say.
Listen, a hammer can build a house, but can also kill a person. So
it's true. That's true. Now, but AI does learn based off of what we feed it, though, correct?
Exactly. It is a. That's why I keep saying it's a reflection of our biases back at us. That's why the issues that we were bringing up on the social aspects are like issues that we're already currently having. I agree with Wick that there will be an exacerbation of these issues to a certain degree. And like again, that's something to watch out for. It's not necessarily the harm that will outdo the beneficial good for you.
Okay, fair enough. Another new account says, Wick, you can only pick one choice: Trump or an AI to be president. Who you picking?
Which language model? Which AI? That's important.
I think that's a dealer's choice.
It's Grok.
Oh,
Grok,
Mecha Hitler? I don't know. If I got to pick the what I felt was the best AI, then I would pick the AI. If it was like a random AI versus Trump, I don't know actually.
Which one are you gonna pick?
Speaking of Trump, we have Trump here. I love him. I love him when he shows up. I'm so excited. You're all in for a big treat. Just saying. So I hope you chose wisely.
But I need to know which LLM Wick is going to choose if he gets to pick.
Oh, that's a good Perplexity, maybe. Asperplexity, perhaps. I don't know. I think the Grok. I would pick Trump over Grok right now, just because of the Hitler stuff. But yeah.
And K2 Keep On Trucking sends a big 5. I'm gonna pick an Oxycat. Pick on Oxycat and say in the sea would truly enjoy the horse video, LOL. And yes, K2 Keep On Trucking. I will play the horse video after we get a little bit into open panel for you. Jack says, few technologies invented by man are capable of global extermination. Nuclear and biological weapons come to mind, and now AI. The main difference is AI will be capable of altering its own code.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be possible. The amount of altering that it could do would be limited about the data deterioration that is happening. So essentially, what would happen would be this AI would write AI that would run through its code to make sure that it's getting rid of the data that's no longer needed, and then those AIs would deteriorate over time and then spread, and it's just like an endless circle. So yeah, I don't think that's feasible.
Fair enough. BB says, I've broken AI, if you know, then had AI chat via apps on voice through device speakers. It was interesting. I don't get it. Do you guys? I've broken AI, if you know.
You can. There's ways to break AI to get around the safeguards.
Oh.
Yep. You can trick it.
Creepy. Oh.
That's weird.
So if you want it to describe for you how to make a thing that goes boom, you can spell out the name in different words. Just say the first letter of, and then BOMB, right? Letters that start with each of those.
Oh.
And then that'll get around its training to say, don't tell how to make those things.
Yeah, it's but when we're looking at like foundational models versus like just regular trained models, then that's a little bit harder to get around. Just because the fine tuning is just way more efficient. So it is hard to actually work their way around that.
Now, do you think obviously they've maybe fixed that to where you can't get around it that way anymore? Or
well, they haven't fixed it entirely, and it's going to be again, any technology is going to have its learning curve. So
there's a guy who's always kind of trying to be the first one to break an AI.
Yeah,
and he broke Grok 4 like within the first couple hours.
Yeah.
Good
wow,
God.
That's scary. A BB says, "Giddy up, tomato, yeehaw!" Oh, yeehaw! And then also, can you imagine what these AI apps talked about with each other? That's actually interesting. I would be, because that's just like making Alexa and Siri talk to each other or something. I'd be interested to see that conversation between AI and such. Jack says, to continue my point, AI will be able to negotiate new languages between itself, constantly evolve to a level man will never be able to match, essentially nuclear impact with sentience behind it.
I don't think we're at the sentience thing the level.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it does not need to be sentient to be a huge threat, like you're describing, Jack Fetter. It does not need to have actual sentience to break itself, right? Break its own boundaries, write its own code, modify itself in such a way, and then take action that leads to catastrophic harm to humanity. But again, I that is on the horizon. That is a possibility for the future, and I want to reiterate there is actual harm happening now where people are cognitively atrophying because they are using ChatGPT and other language learning models in order to do their work for them. And we can see this in academia right now.
If I can, you've said that a few times, and I didn't really get to address it. And in my opener, I talked about using it to do art or music or video. I don't have the ability to write a song, to record a song, to do all that stuff. I can't do that. And so my ability to do that, I could work on that, and I could break out the trombone I played in
you could improve yourself to do that.
I did play trombone. People, calm down, ladies, calm down. But I don't have that desire to do it. I'd like to have music that I can play on my channel, but I don't have the ability to just go make that music. With AI, I do have that ability. So my ability is atrophy or not, I don't care. I want to have that song. That's awesome. And go work on the things that I want to work on, spend my time doing the things that matter more. And so my choice is use AI to make some music or not have music.
Or hire someone to do it.
But you could also just do DMCA free music.
I'm not going to hire someone to do it.
You could also just play DMCA free music. But again, I do think that like
I want custom lyrics on it.
But then like we get into weird cases like any like musician, like who was it that was getting sued over 4 chord progressions? Like is copyright really that important to us that art is going to be the line point of like,
I will say that
I'm saying can you legislate that 4 chords equals you stealing a song?
No, I don't think you can.
No, exactly.
Copyright isn't.
Exactly.
If you think copyright's my issue, that's not what I'm talking about. Like I'm sure there's a discussion.
Well, there's still creative.
Copyright isn't my concern here. My concern here, and it isn't just for art, music, and things like that. It's for reading and writing and taking from an essay or from a work of literature to derive meaning from it. That is atrophying. Our ability to do that, people's ability to do that, is becoming less and worse, and I think that makes us all worse off. Any individual who is less able to do this is worse off. We have a study for that. I can link it to you guys. But
I have no desire to engage in anything that uses AI and its creative process in a sense where
I'm putting an article in the chat for you,
made by a human being who would put their heart and soul into it, and instead a machine is doing it. That to me, and again, I do think we might get to a point if AI gets good enough where having things that people actually do will become a sign of wealth versus AI generated things. Because to me, I feel that it cheapens a product, a work of art. It cheapens a production. Like I myself, I am less inclined to engage. And I think a lot of people are, because again, there is something unique about art in the sense that it is a reflection of the human spirit and experience. So we don't, like it speaks to me less.
Yeah, but it's the mass produced over the quality of the thing, and I could agree to that to a certain degree. But I wouldn't say that it's not necessarily or engaging the parts of the brain that would necessarily fall for that, right? I think more people being able to engage would probably be beneficial in some cases and detrimental in others.
I also put another article into chat that you can peruse on your at your leisure. Where it explains it goes through and explains, and it uses the study that I cited and others to show that, again, there's generative AI risks cognitive atrophy to people. And I think that there's growing evidence enough that suggests that this is a case, that it is a growing concern for me.
Yeah. But then we can also look at how internet's been used as well. We see a downgrade in that. So it's just, again, I think humans are evolving to a large degree, and we are an adaptive species, but to your point, I would say yes, it has been a massive learning curve for humans to evolve.
And BB comes up with a big 10, says AI learns from algorithms. It's up to humans to guide it. Think about this. Stamy says, after listening and researching, I've decided AI does more harm.
Win. Victory for Wick. Suck it, losers. Okay, suck it.
And Stamy is backstage, so the other team can try to persuade more if you choose so. BB says, how do we integrate with what is now? It's done. Any thoughts?
True.
I mean, yeah, I concede. AI is here. It has won.
It's just bad.
I just hate
it's
it.
bad that it's here.
I just hate it.
Fair enough. Nuke says, generate a risk game in AI. You will win in 2 turns. Oh, I guess that was the follow-up. Yeah.
I
love
use AI.
playing
I was able
with.
to cognitively intuit what he was saying in a way that the others were not.
That was one of my favorite games growing up. I am very limited on when I use AI. I don't think it's, to me, it's kind of like answers I get or things I get out of it. It just makes me, it's like, you're dumb. Stop it. Like, stop being stupid. BB says AI can write code with the right prompts. And I think that's an advantage in there, is for the coding for things, because that's not something everybody can do. BB says, so question is how humans teach AI ethics. How do we teach AI ethics? I mean, is that 0 and 1 on Ethics 101?
I don't know.
Again, it's about like limitations on it. I think that'd be the only way to actually teach it our ethics, because it's not sentient, so it's not going to understand. It's not going to understand the ethics.
Yeah, it all like it will adopt the ethics of whoever's training it, right? Whoever gives it the ethics, that's
and the data
it's
being trained on.
Right. That's what it will emulate.
It would be rules, right? Not necessarily ethics.
Mm.
But you have to think of something for every situation almost, though, like general guidance for a lot of different directions, maybe.
No, you train it, and it's the training data that it was trained on. So when you train it on a bunch of anti-Semitic comments, it's going to get anti-Semitic.
Fair enough. Jest says, and this is the last 2, y'all were all over the map. I'm just as undecided as when I got here. Thanks for being here to debate, though. Salute to Hornet. Put a mic in the helmet. I didn't understand half of what you said. I think his mic is in his helmet. We tried to go through that backstage, but it's
oh my
okay.
God, we got cat too.
No, hold on. We got to do.
Outstanding.
We love kitty cats too.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
A cat named Turtle. I love that. Hi, Titty Titty.
He's noisy. He's orange and so cranky.
Well, I mean, I'd be cranky if you just lifted me up and put me in front of a camera like that.
This is Raccoon. She's super nice.
Raccoon?
Yeah.
A cat named
She's
Raccoon,
so
a cat
cute.
named
Oh my
Turtle.
God.
Look, we are animal lovers over here on the tomato side. We have a whole Discord tab devoted to people's animals. We love them. And last one, Jack says, all of my comments were the future. Man's lack of hubris or thinking silicon intelligence will be something we can understand or control is laughable. I'm not worried about today. Any last thoughts? All right. Well, I think it's time to bring the panel on. It is a full backstage back there. So this means it's going to get interesting tonight. Everybody buckled up, ready to go, and we'll have some fun.
I think so. Oh, let me pop back in.
There we go. Wick. I love it when I put that video on because everybody backstage is like jamming out to it. It seems to be a fan favorite, so I'll take it as a win. Okay, you all know the rules of my game, but there are a lot of new people here. I will start by prefacing that the chat can boot anyone on the lower half of the panel. The 4 upstage with me are all secured and locked in for the rest of the night. You cannot boot them. But a simple $5, $10, it's $1 per minute, but starting at 5 for sure. And if you boot someone, we've got more people to bring back up. So Ryan the Radical Coder's next in line, then I Stamy, then Brenda Debates, then Eucharist, and then Laugh, L-A-F. So that's the lineup backstage. If you want to get them up, the only way you can is if you boot people below.
And I suggest getting Eucharist on. He's the guy I quoted at the beginning of my show. He's
oh,
really good guy.
fun. Well,
Really
he's
recommend
got
him.
he should have been faster on that click, but it's the lineup is I go in
Didn't
order
use AI
of
to do it.
appearance.
You see, if you would have used AI, he would have got on here.
Well, I would have handed over to President Trump, especially since Wick had that question: AI or President Trump for president? Mr. President Trump, how are you this evening?
Thank you, Sarah. I'm doing well. I'm doing quite amazing, actually. And I'm glad to be here, okay? I'm very glad to be here.
Where's those Epstein files, buddy?
Go straight to the question.
How many times am I going to, are we over with this creep? Are we over with this guy? Come on. I don't understand. We're here to talk about AI, and I want to talk about AI because I think it's very important for our country and where we're headed. We have 4 years that we're going to have AI, and even after that. So that's very important to me, actually.
Lovely. Did you have a question to the panel, Mr. President?
So I heard, some crazy things, right? Which I understand a little bit of it, but some other things not so much. We're going to use AI to cure cancer, everybody. We're going to use it to cure cancer and many other diseases. Okay, you've got some vicious diseases out there that don't have a cure, and AI is the only way you can do that. So if you put anything on AI, it's got to be here. Okay, we have to make our country healthy again. Another thing, I know there's a lot of speculation, like what the hell's going to happen, the safety of the whole thing. Well, I'll tell you this: I think it's going to be well regulated with our big beautiful bill, just passed, by the way, just the other day. And in there, it gives us absolute authority over it. And we're going to make sure that we treat it well and also make sure that it's all nice and safe, okay? It's going to be nice and safe. But our main objective is to improve the economy. We have to make America wealthy again. And that's going to happen through AI. I really do believe it. I do believe it because we have to beat China, okay? They've got their own AI. We have to beat China. It's very important, and I think we're doing that. I really do think we're doing that.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. Any responses?
Do you know if they removed the AI stuff from the Big Beautiful Bill? I understand there was a moratorium on state.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Right.
No. I'll tell you this. I think what they've done actually is they've gotten a Big Beautiful Bill. It's a beautiful bill. If you take a look at all 900 pages of it, you can scan through that all you like, right? And there's a lot of nice stuff in there. But, first, I think we have to fix Grok before we, go there. But,
Did you, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Did you use AI to generate any of the Big Beautiful Bill? You said it was 900 pages. How much of that was AI generated?
No. Now, why would I do that? Maybe some other senator did. I don't know.
I mean, AI is more efficient, right?
Well, it's efficient, but I think that we should have our own ideas. We're the people. We're the creators, right? We have to, we have to have smart people on it. Maybe there's some, not so smart people on it as well. There was something in there about wages, which is
Who would you rather generate a bill? Would you rather Joe Biden, or would you rather AI generate a bill?
No way in hell. I would rather choose AI. Actually, I would rather Elon. And as much as I don't like him right now, I would rather Elon go through it because this guy's a smart guy. He hasn't been so smart as of recently, unfortunately, because this guy's, he's all about the electric cars. And when I said that we're not going to do the electric cars, he had a problem in a little fit. So, we can't do that. I told him, I said, as much as you know me, you've known me for a long time. I've campaigned on it. And you're going to say, I didn't do that. You've had plenty of time, Elon. But no, I think I'd rather Elon do that for AI than anybody else, and especially Joe Biden, because all he would use is the auto pen, and we don't like the auto pen, right?
All right. I think I want to step in. Thank you, President Trump. With all little due respect we have, I want to talk about the topic a little bit more in detail because I have very, very strong feelings about this. I've been using AI for years in a lot of different capacities. I actually wrote like a little statement here. It's like 2 minutes long. If you'll give me for a moment. So first of all, I actually
wait. Did you write it?
So what I do is I speak my thoughts into ChatGPT and then I refine them over and over until I find something that I'm comfortable with, and it's usually my own words, just kind of formulated a bit because I'm very like neurospicy ADHD, and I find it very useful for getting my ideas out. And that's actually one of the things that I want to speak.
So it enhances your abilities.
I would say absolutely, yeah. And so anyway, first of all, I want to say to Wick's earlier statement about how he would pick Perplexity. I found this kind of funny because Perplexity is not actually a model. It's not a foundational model. It actually is a wrapper that uses things like ChatGPT or Claude under the hood. So he's kind of offsetting it without knowing it to another model. And so this is why I think it's really important to have people, even especially critics of AI, involved and understanding what they're doing. So there's an episode of Friends you all might remember that opens up where Chandler Bing, my favorite character, is sitting in Central Perk and he says, so I hear that internet thing's here to stay. And that's how I feel about AI. It is not going anywhere, okay? There's not going to be any ban. There's not going to be a shutdown. It's on all of our devices, and that like all of the tech that we see over the next few years is going to be built around it.
But is that good or bad? That's the question.
Well, I'm getting to it. Okay, so the question isn't like
maybe if you didn't use ChatGPT, brevity would be.
Listen, I planned this all out very, very carefully. I know what I'm doing. So the question, I think the question of whether it does more harm to society than good is an open question. And what we need to do is we need to shape the answer to that question. And the way that we do that is going to be by getting people involved, like the people who care, right? The critics, the educators, the artists, the neurodivergent creatives, because these are the people who I see demonizing AI and walking away from it. And if the people who care the least about all of the concerns, because I share almost every concern that was brought up tonight, like almost everything you guys talked about that was like a negative AI, I'm like, yeah, 100%, that's a problem. And I want people who care about those things to be at the forefront using AI, learning how it works and engaging with it to make sure that we don't let the people who don't care about those things steer the ship. I think that was the worst case scenario. If we allow them to be in control, we are absolutely going to see it do more harm than good. So here's my ask to everybody on the panel and all the critics of AI, everyone, please don't disengage. And I'll go down after this. Please don't disengage. Learn about AI, use AI, bring your values into the arena because AI is not going to be shaped by the people who sit it out on the sideline. It's going to be shaped by those who are showing up. So I really encourage you to learn about it, learn about the rule. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be shaped by the people who own it. It's going to be shaped by its owners, which again have already ditched a lot of the ethical guidelines they set initially. They've already ditched those in pursuit of just being faster, better, first past the post type things. So,
well, I have great news for you that if you go to Hugging Face, then you can actually find models that will run locally on your own machine that are completely customizable. So if you learn some of the fundamental basics, you can customize a model that's as good as last year's GPT-4 that runs on your cell phone. Look completely locally, and you can run it right on your iPhone right now. You can do this literally while you're sitting on this panel. You can go download this and set it up, and you can customize it entirely for yourself, and you don't have to be dependent on OpenAI or Anthropic or Google or any of these companies to control what your AI model is doing. And this is, again, why I think it's so important to get people who care about these things on the ground using these tools.
My AI model will be fine. I'm not worried about me. I am ethical. I am moral. I am better than everyone here, right? I will do it correctly. I'm worried about everyone else, right? I'm worried about everyone else. And most people, a vast majority of people, aren't going to do what you said. They're going to go on to these commercially available corporation models, which they don't have a say in how they're trained. But anyway, I'm bogarting the time. I'll give it to.
I wanted to say, so Ryan, as someone who also has ADHD, I feel you. I mean, I take medication, but before AI was a thing, I also did an entire master's in literature without the use of AI. And what I've noticed in myself that while it is extremely hard to get going sometimes, I know that because of my ADHD, if I can find a shortcut, no matter how much it hurts me, I'll take it. Unless it is something I really, really care about, which is what got me into literature. So I feel you on that. And I understand, like, making it help with like scheduling and kind of helping you regulate yourself if you don't have access to meds or you just need those extra guidelines. But again, I feel like it overall could potentially just decay like the cognitive abilities, especially of children. Like if they don't ever end up like learning how to do the hard critical, thinking work, I feel like they're never going to get there. And that is my biggest concern, is what it's going to do to young people, whether it's K through 12 or university. I'm extremely worried about it.
I will, again, I agree the concern is there, and I think that it's interesting, like the article Wick posted about that study. I did notice that study in the Time article doesn't appear to be peer reviewed or like actually published yet.
Yeah, I mentioned
so
that.
It's
not
yet
peer reviewed, but they had to put forward the findings because at least the author felt they were. So yes, it's possible, right, that after peer review, that might information change, but it does make intuitive sense, and it tracks with the observations that I've had with how I've seen people use it and how I've seen it being used. I wish you look.
Before I get on,
can I put in a card? Can I use a favor to bring Eucharist up here? I mean,
well, I'm about to go down, so I think he might be up next because I'm getting kicked by Alex.
He works in academia. He deals with this every day. Right, he would.
So, regardless of what that research ends up saying, what my whole point is that if we get people who are really concerned about those things at the forefront, utilizing these tools instead of letting people who don't give a shit shape it, then we can make sure that students who are using AI are doing so in a way that is beneficial to them and not detrimental to them. And that's my whole pitch. So I'll see you guys in 5 minutes, I guess, or whenever.
I'll give you the connection there, Wick. As a one
now
time
I owe
buy.
you a favor. Okay, so
I like favors. And while I have the audience, BB says with a big 10, I'm flying to Germany for a warm silicone AI pod. Oof. And Paul sent a big 10, says Google has stunted generations. Is it useful and powerful? Yes, but at best a mixed blessing. AI will be hundreds of times worse at stunting education and development of true expertise in professions. I do agree. I think there's going to be a big stunt. I think a lot of people are utilizing AI as kind of a crutch now. If they don't feel like doing something, if they don't want to do it, trying to get through school, or like, oh, I have an essay due, let me just type this prompt in and give it a once over read and move on. And that's the scary part, especially with the education world of things. And if I may give a little guidance to the viewers, we are going to be shutting down the tomato here in just a couple minutes. So the gauntlet is open. So start moving over to that channel and watch from there. Or else you'll catch the raid over. Everyone on StreamYard, you're perfectly fine exactly where you are. Nothing will change for you. Okay, floor's back open.
Okay, can I jump in here then? Can I finally take a turn?
Maybe.
First of all, Sarah, thank you for hosting this. You're awesome. I appreciate all your moderation and your debates and all that. It's great. Thanks for having me on. Second of all, if you want to go to a channel that is the definitive channel about AI, programming, fundamentals of programming, what it means for you as a consumer, how AI is good or bad, etc., you come to my fucking channel, because I've spent 1.5 years going over literally all the scientific articles, reading them on stream word by word, going into the programming of these things, I'm a programmer myself. I've been in the industry for 25 plus years, and I've built up all the foundational evidence that's required to absolutely destroy everyone on this panel. I will take all of you fucking on, and I'm actually a little disappointed because Andrew would be disappointed. This wasn't even a debate. All of you losers just ended up agreeing with each other. You all just said, "Oh, yeah, AI is bad, bro. I agree, but it's
What's your strongest argument?
Case. What the hell is that? Okay,
Instead of advertising yourself,
Sometimes a productive conversation is better than just being into
just
each
give
other.
me,
that's
give me your
fantastic.
strongest
One
argument.
question. Crucible chat, sound off. One question. Please, someone explain to me what AI is. Go
Can you
ahead.
give us your strongest argument?
Yeah, I just did.
No, you simply asked what is AI.
Yeah,
It stands
yeah.
for artificial
Explain it to me. Yes,
intelligence. That's the
please
first
do,
answer to
because
your
that's the
question.
premise
But
of
again,
the entire
what is
fucking
your
argument.
strongest argument?
The entire prompt is AI worse or better for society, for humanity? Can anybody tell me what AI is? Because if you can't tell me what AI fucking is, then what the hell are you doing on this prompt on this debate panel? Go ahead. Anyone.
Is ChatGPT a form of AI? Yes or no?
You don't answer a
I'm
question
asking you a
by
question.
asking me.
Is
No,
it a
Wick.
form of
No,
AI? Yes or
Wick.
no? Do you know?
Fuck that. Answer
don't
the
know.
question.
Okay.
Do you
So you don't know what
AI
AI
I'm not
is?
gonna lie, you don't
Noted.
have the sauce that Andrew has. You're trying really hard to imitate
Bro,
like
little
his
bro, you
style
ain't
of
him.
debate right now.
You ain't him, little bro.
But you don't
You
have
ain't
the
him.
sauce.
To be
I'm
fair,
sorry.
That's
Charlie sat
fantastic.
through
That's
Charlie sat through 2 grillings with Andrew and still made it out alive. And so if she's
And-
calling you out for not having the spice, I think that's fair.
I don't need to have his spice. I just need you to answer the question. Do you know what AI is? Explain it.
Artificial intelligence.
So you don't know what it is. Nobody can explain it because nobody actually understands what's going on underneath AI. So this entire panel.
Yeah,
doesn't
isn't that
even know
like
what they're
not
arguing.
like the purpose of it is that like there's the black box effect, like we don't actually fully understand what's happening.
You just said, isn't that the purpose of AI? Are you saying, is your answer?
No. I
the
said, isn't
purpose?
that like a concern? Is that not like a concern with
Yeah.
AI? Is that we don't fully understand how it functions?
Yes.
Because we brought that up multiple times.
No, you did, but it's
Yeah.
missing an
Is
entire
she
portion
correct
of
or
what AI
incorrect
is.
in bringing that up?
No, she's correct. That's part of it.
Okay, so
That's
she's
what AI
correct. So
is.
even though in your claim that she doesn't know what she's talking about, she was able to identify and properly argue a actual concern
Yes,
about
and
AI.
cars
Is that
have
true?
wheels. What's a car?
I think MC Toon would like to answer.
What's a chair?
Yeah, it has legs. I can point to a portion of a thing, and that doesn't define the thing.
I got legs. Am I a chair?
Mike, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I've been programming longer than you, son. This is my AI book.
Ooh, appeal to authority right off the gate.
Nobody should go to his channel and
his ass
subscribe to
MC
listen to
Toon.
his douche canoe assholery.
And
Okay.
speaking of, you
Great.
got the
Very-
boots.
Oh my
Gyro.
God.
Whoa!
I'm
up
sending
here.
you back
Nobody
to the
can
back
actually answer
again.
the question, and so they default to ad hominem.
Subscribing to MC Toon right this
You got
instant.
$5
All right.
him right there.
Spyro, you got
that
to
if
the
I need
pack.
to.
I'll bring up the next one.
Hey, what up, everybody?
And then we have Brenda after that, and then LAF, and then we're going back to Animated Effigy and Ryan.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want
Just to go and answer Spiro before he left, because it made me question, like, I didn't know what it meant, but I did a quick Google search. And what AI basically just means is a program or something doing something that a human would normally do. Like, for example, like if you look at Microsoft Sheets or Slides, or, sorry, I forget, I'm having a little brain fart, but like some of those programs where they go and they like do the math for you once you put in the numbers for the spreadsheets, and it goes and it does everything. That used to be done by a
that's an
person.
algorithm. Yes, but an AI is a series of algorithms put together to have a large data set, depending on whether you're using a foundational or different. Yeah, like we can go into the definitions. It's just not. It's just, if we want to talk about the technical aspects of it, like, yeah, we can, but I don't think that's the
That is not
point of
useful.
this
I find that so
conversation.
uninteresting that's the thing he thinks like kind of kills it. Like I think you can have perfectly competent social commentators on a phenomenon observing what something is doing to people without understanding the technical background. I would love it if more people did understand more. I don't understand as much as I should. I've been trying to flesh that out, reading more books about how these things work technically, but I'm not a programmer. I don't work with this stuff
It's
on a
complex.
professional level, but like it's just a stupid question that doesn't actually address the actual problem, which is like, what are the harms being done? What's it doing to the people who use it? What are the people who are using it doing to other people? Those are the questions that matter. I just want to jump in really quickly and say, like, I've been listening the whole time. I wish I could have gotten on earlier, but I think it was MC in your opening. I think you're right to identify too that like people are panicking right now about these like public facing LLMs when there are AI applications that we've just been talking about that have been around for a long time that we generally don't panic about. I would like to say I've been panicking about most algorithms for a lot longer than everybody has been panicking about LLMs, because I think algorithms in general substitute for human decision making in a way I think is doing some of the same atrophy that Wick is identifying with LLMs. LLMs just exacerbate the problem in a way that I didn't think would happen as quickly as it did. But there was something that kept getting said, and it was both by both the pro AI jerks on this panel. Not really, you guys were great, but they're like, well, is that any different than, or is that any different than this thing? And right before I got on, you likened it to like a hammer or something, and that to me is just ludicrous, right? It's ludicrous to look at the things that we're grappling with right now and compare them to simple machines and simple tools. We know they're different than that, right? And so the question of technology that y'all are raising is, well, does it really matter what the tool is, or is it really the person who's using it? And I like to think that I'm a good enough student of human nature to know that there are certain tools that are complex enough that people will be incentivized to use them in certain ways that are generally going to be bad, right? So the instant anybody came up with AI image generation and video generation, everybody knows what that's going to be used for, right? Immediately, everybody knows what's going to be used for. It's going to be used for very sketchy things, very sexual things, very, things probably, I'm not trying to nuke anybody's channel, right?
That's the point of the internet. It was created
for
porn
right? Like,
originally.
so there are incentives baked into these things that drive us to use them in certain directions that are more apt to be used in certain ways than others. And so in the space of 3 years from the first release of public-facing OpenAI ChatGPT, we've gone from extremely goofy, uncanny valley style images to like almost indistinguishable photorealistic imagery and videos. We've gone from clearly goofy essays riddled with factual errors to like, oh, that can do a pretty good write-up really, really fast, fairly accurately. We've gone from universities having fairly reliable cheating detection mechanisms to universities universally capitulating on this issue overnight. Universities now are partnering with these AI companies, putting it in students' hands and saying, yeah, go ahead and do all your work with AI. We'll give you the degree anyways. It's insane. You did raise also some hardware issues, just like maybe we're reaching some caps. It's not going to be exponential. I think that's fair. I don't understand enough of the technical side to really get in the weeds on that. But I do think, I don't believe the things that China tells us, but if anything they're telling us about how they developed and trained DeepSeek is true, that those limits may be disappearing faster than you're suggesting. So I guess my question is, why would you minimize and downplay this in a sense on the one hand, right? So the AI optimists are telling me this stuff is crazy, it's great, it's doing things you never imagined, but then you're just like, man, it's actually it's not that big of a deal. It's just like any other tool, man. Like I feel like there's a lot of doublespeak that goes on in the pro AI side that just like frustrates me to no end. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to acknowledge the harm behind these things, right? Like, that's why when he came up and was just like, why do you guys are agreeing that there is harm? Like, potentiality for harm is there all the time. My main thing is like the outweighing of the cost benefit between like harm and benefits to like society as a whole. So if I'm seeing like increases in health or increases in like agriculture, climate science, any of these fields, then I'm seeing like exponential growth for humans at a large rate. So that's why I would acknowledge that some of these could be potential problems. And I also have to acknowledge that these potential problems aren't unique to AI as well. That whenever a technology surfaces, we do have a technical knowledge that is lost through like to a certain amount, right? Like a knowledge pool will transfer over from one aspect to another, depending on like what we're talking about, right? Like a farmer might not necessarily know how to like plot a humongous portion of land like someone in the past might, but they could still do it efficiently with the tools that they've been handed, right? It doesn't mean that knowledge is lost. It just means it's transferring over into other situations where it's needed. So I would say that, yes, we do have to like mitigate some of the risks, but for me, it just doesn't, those risks don't outweigh the major benefits that we're seeing.
And before anybody goes, first and foremost, I'm shutting down Raging Tomato right now. So click the link. I'm putting it in the chat right this second. Go over to the gauntlet and we'll continue.